A word to the wise, we are an explicit podcast tackling content with adult themes as well as entering spoiler territory. If you aren't caught up with us this week, that would be through Lorien in Demon in White by Christopher Rocky. Hey there, this is Cross.
And this is Josh.
And we are Words and Whiskey, a podcast for veteran and novice readers alike. We tackle fiction novels and love to talk about what we're drinking. You should think of us as your intoxicating weekly book club. Josh.
Cross.
We just talked a lot about TV shows and movies and David Koepp.
Yep. I mean, I think we're good.
I think we're good. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. We'll talk to you soon.
Go listen to the Devil's Cut. It's all in there. Everything you needed.
I didn't look up at the timer and realize that, oh shit, that was 25 minutes. A little bit longer than average, which is fine.
It's not the worst we've done.
It's true. It's true. We've done damage in Devil's Cuts on accident. That said,
I'm halfway through my beer. But
yeah, I marked your beer and then I shook mine once and I went, oh, I am also halfway through my beer. That said, I'm really excited to talk about this week's episode, which is, of course, the second episode of Demon in White by Christopher Rocky. It's Pinion and Claw through Lorien. Super amped to talk about it. Josh, how'd you feel about this week?
I'm liking this book a lot. It's like there's not any of the crazy shit that happens in Howling Dark. And I guess in a lot of ways, it almost feels a little bit more like Empire. But there's something about the character writing and just the pacing and the feel of it that it's improved upon both of the other books. I think like there's something about it that's just so easy to read, just so nice to be in, like engaging. I'm really, really, really digging this book so far, and I like the birds. Yeah, birds are fun, and I love what Rukin does with the birds. You know, he makes them freaky, a little freaky. Yeah. You know, this is a side tangent that has nothing to do with anything, but I was hanging out with a friend, and she was telling us about her birds. She's got like 3 birds, and I guess her family had to like redo the floor in their house. And so she had to get all the birds out of there, and they had an Airbnb, but the Airbnb didn't open until 3, and they had to get all the birds out at 9. And she was just standing on the street, not knowing what to do with all of her birds. So she convinced her neighbor to let her keep the birds at his place for a couple hours. And then we were all hanging out, and then she got a text that the Airbnb was ready, and she's like, I gotta go burgle back my birds. And I just think that's the best sentence I've ever heard in my life.
Burgle back my birds. Yeah, that's great. I gotta
go burgle back my birds. And that has nothing to do with anything here other than birds, but I thought you should know.
Yeah. We love that it has something to do with birds. So yeah.
Well, if you think about it, Hadrian really burgles back his birds in this section.
He really does burgle back the birds, especially considering that the Chantry was going to cha-cha slide away with them. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So
that's all I had. I'm sorry.
It's something.
I could have done better.
Well,
I'm sorry, boss.
Especially considering the Chantry, and then it's just a different audio quality, and then a funnier joke. Hey, you know, if Rikio can do it in the audiobook edits, so can we.
Oh, man. Yeah, I will say, I don't know if you picked this up, but I do think that the line edits in audio have gotten better in this book.
Less noticeable, less of them.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that actually like jumped out to me specifically in this section that I've been thinking about is I feel like Rukin is actually doing like stronger work in this one. Like improved from Empire to Howling, and Howling has some crazy good moments.
Mm-hmm.
But just the standard like beat to beat average sentence, I think, is written a little tighter and delivered a little tighter, both from Rockio and Rukin in this book so far. These first 2 sections.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that he did an excellent job kind of tightening everything up. And so this feels very like well-oiled.
It's all still there, but it's a little cleaner whenever we get a Hadrian little side tangent thought. Like it feels more seamless within the story. How long they go feels long enough to be valid, but not so long that I start to wonder where we're going with this. There's a lot of sentences in the first 2 books where like just 2 words are used too close together, like the same words used twice too close together, and it doesn't feel purposeful. Like minor nitpicky things like that I'm just noticing a lot less of in this book. Like it feels just a little bit cleaner, a little bit stronger, a little bit more polished.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. I think important of note, of course, is that I really do think that the edits on the first novel for sure, the pass through is pretty substantial in the way that it cleans up a lot of those because there are a number of them and some of that sort of like really obtuse stuff. Although I kind of enjoy it being like a little esoteric and obtuse too. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what my vibe is. I mean, we evaluated it side by side. And some of it makes sense and is clean and nice and some of it, I like, but this instead of losing that just feels tighter all around and that's just better
Exactly, yeah.
strictly.
Yeah, it's strongly written so far, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I do think that this is also where the characters really lock in. Like we get them at the end. The other characters lock in, supporting cast. We get them at the end. You don't know if they're going to make it to the next book because no one survived the first book to the second book, really. So like who, and I don't mean from a death perspective, but like no one remained. Here we are again at the beginning of this book. Everyone's here.
Yeah, well, not Gen, not Switch.
Well, right. Yeah, get and Switch, but you gotta have some losses.
But
Take
yeah,
it
no,
easy.
you definitely get more of that supporting cast situation. And with like Krim, like we barely knew who Krim was in the last two books. And then in this book, he's like very present and very cool and such a little sassy asshole. I like him.
Yeah, you meant Krim, right? Did you say Krim or Gen?
I thought I said Krim.
I thought I heard Gen. That's probably on me. Yeah. Regardless, we also get more on Gen, strangely, like it being a ghost and things, and
Gen
that's like,
up.
Yeah. Very, very interesting, but cool. All right. Well, I think
there's like I guess we'll talk about it when we get to that chapter, actually. But
there's an interesting note within that chapter itself that I kind of feel. Yeah. There's one seat and there are two people missing. Okay.
Yeah.
That said, we didn't, even though we were talking for a long time, we didn't actually take a shot within the Devil's Cut, so we're doing it here within the episode. I've got a little Reiki vodka, favorite, classic.
I've got a little original batch Old Forester bourbon.
Ooh.
Just Old Forester, but more expensive. Oh, but it's all they had. Good.
Yum. Yeah, Reiki is great. Hard to beat. So, yeah, I really like this section. I like where we ended. I'm very excited for what we'll read next, too. But we're not there yet. So, with that, I think we can kick off into Pinion and Claw. We start this chapter in the streets of the bazaar with Polino and Velka walking around listening to Pal tell an old war story. It's kind of a fun one. Again, great little characterization moment for the trio of them. Before we're interrupted by an Urktani group flying over top of them incredibly quick, spooking everyone on the streets kind of a little bit. There's even a brief moment where, I think Polino questions whether or not that was one of like their own ships buzzing the streets for some reason. Polino even reacts with an "Oh, Earth and Emperor." He's got that look again at Hadrian, which is hilarious, before we dive into an internal Hadrian monologue about the Birdos, which feels derogatory, and I might not say it again outside of the context, but I had to say it the one time, giving us way more on the story of Simeon the Red and even more a comparison between the Urktani and the Sea Elson biculture.
Yeah, I do think it's really interesting that Hadrian... Well, first off, I want to know the end of Gen's story. I want to know...
Polinos!
I'm just going to say Gen for every single fucking person. We brought up Gen. It's Hadrian's fault. It's Christopher's fault for bringing up Gen. I forgot about Gen, and now he's the only one I can remember.
Apparently.
Polino. I love Polino's story. I want to know how it ends. But just the line of like, what are you scanning for? Weapons. Well, then, what did you do? I put my rifle on the scanner and I said, well, we wouldn't do to have me hiding a gun in my gun. Now, it's great. And it's good banter. Like, it's just well done, good banter that feels lively and nice. And the voice acting is there and the writing is there and it's good. And then the fucking birds. But it is fun to get that, like, he has that look in his eye thing again, because there's so much time that's passed. We don't know how many times Hadrian's done this, where just something interesting that piqued his little, like, Xenobite interests has popped up, and they're like, I just have to assume they've been on, like, a planet somewhere, and them being like, oh, there's little, like, Xenobites that are basically fruit bats up there. And it's, but it's hard. It's like a 12-mile hike up that mountain. And then Hadrian's just been like, yeah. And everybody else has had to deal with a 12-mile hike up the mountain. because Hadrian wanted to go look at some silly little aliens.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think that it's nice to get the vibe that this has probably happened before to a degree. But these are the Xenobites that Hadrian's always wanted to see, like always been the most obsessed. He's seen one in a distance, but like
Mhm.
I was excited for him. And I do like also the comparisons to Simeon the Red and the Tawny and who he thought he would be for the Cielsen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very
Especially.
good. It put some context too into like what was going through his mind whenever he went down to those tunnels all the way back in Empire of Silence. And I think he probably gives us some of that back then, but this really kind of like solidifies it. And like he's able to admit to himself now that he did just want to be a storybook hero that did the Simeon the Red thing. And he saw the Cielsen as his opportunity for that. It almost so it on the surface definitely paints like just like this hopeful, youthful nature that he had, but it almost shows like a selfish reasoning too. Like he wanted to be the next Simeon the Red. Not he wanted to stop the war like he says over and over and over again back then. He just wanted to be like a storybook hero who everybody was like, wow, we didn't think they were people, but you proved us wrong and you're so smart.
I think that this is really this exact section is one of those like masterclasses that Rockio really puts on in recontextualizing a first person narrative told from like the end of the story in a big way, where it's like, I tried to give you an accurate depiction of what I was feeling at the time, but in reality, as an adult in this moment, I could look back and see what I actually was. And he wasn't giving it that to us back then. Yeah. And so I think that that's just like admittance in a lot of ways is like, in my youth, I refused. And so it's kind of a reminder, too, in my mind, that as we're going through this, what Hadrian is trying to give us is what he was feeling mostly in that moment, with as little from the future as possible, even if he may agree or disagree. This gets back even to the conversation that we had a little bit last week around sort of like genders, people in the caste system, you know, the different species and like being, you know, repugnated by them and not, and the way that changed. I think that that's one of those things that, again, the story is saying, I have different opinions now. I'm not going to tell them to you right now. You might think something that might not be the way that it actually is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a cool way to like experience growth within the, it's weird because it's very expansive, but it's also kind of limiting the like storytelling device here.
Yeah.
Because it makes it hard to make growth feel natural. But it's done really well here, I think.
Yeah. And it just shows how far he's grown. So I really love it. I'm glad you really liked it. Especially being like, man, I just want to be like him, actually. And I love all those old stories of Simeon the Red, Cassius Sullier, Prince Cyrus of the Fools, Sid Arthur, Sir Anthony Damrosch, and Karn Sagara. I really liked those. I was a big fan of all of those, and that last one was kind of freaky, actually.
Yeah, and actually, I don't think I liked the last one, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I do really. This is something that pops up later, and I don't think I pulled the line and don't really want to talk about it too much to like derail what we'll be talking about there. But there is a mention of the sort of like inverted pyramid of like Karn's life and everything like that, and bring this up within sort of mythology to me makes sense. Somehow I had skipped over that and mentally forgotten and like didn't think about the fact that like this is kind of Karn is kind of distinctly Egyptian / like Necron-y from like Warhammer 40K, like very possessing the bodies, using old spirits and like tech spirits and stuff like that. Very cool, very neat.
Yeah,
Egyptian.
Actually, it's weird like that you say it and it's like, yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. But like besides the fact that there is a pyramid, like didn't really think about the Egyptian coding at all. But yeah, it makes sense. Now that it's out there,
a living grave, you know, his planet.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's like actually like entombing him in a lot of ways. Huh.
Yeah. I really like that.
He's not the immortal. He's the undying. You know, he's just like always a little dead. Very interesting.
Yeah, anyway, wanted to bring that up. But yeah, again, Cielsen only submit when they are beaten, and they do not submit like animals. Submit to animals like men, which is such a hard line to go out of, because Hadrian in the last book also looked at Cielsen like animals, and now he's realizing that Cielsen think that we're animals, that thinks that humans are animals. So it makes sense that they have this conflict.
Yeah.
Or less.
There's still so much with the Cielsen where I'm like, I know that we'll get more and maybe they'll all come together, but they could eat cows, you know? Like...
yeah, right. Nothing's to
They
say that we
could.
couldn't figure this out. Yeah.
But no, I get it. I get that we can't, but couldn't we?
Yeah. That said, we do finally get a clearer image of the Urktani. They're really impressive as well. They're far more pterodactyl-like almost in their description, in sort of a physical bone structure, although distinctly upright. Obviously more of a bird without the scales, even though pterodactyls, if you go and you talk about whatever, blah, 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 they would have feathers. There's also a brief chat had between Barda and Hadrian before Udax comes to the fore in a sort of spiteful tone towards Hadrian for his status, stature, and kind of just general dickishness, almost for no reason, which we get into later.
Which I like that we are given a reason later.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing with all these guys, you're talking about, pterodactyls and birds, and I'm just picturing Jarnathan from the D&D movie.
Yeah, the D&D movie.
It's just a bunch of Jarnathans over here.
But didn't Jarnathan have arms that were separate from his wings?
No, I think it's maybe.
I think they were separate. I thought he just had wings. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, their designs are cool. And I like that there's that kind of moment where it's like, oh, where are their hands? And it's like mid-wing. So it's not like end of the wing. Yeah.
Be like if you had your elbows like down on the ground and then your other side of your arm going up, except for they were touching the ground and it was even with your feet, right? So like your hands, the ends of your wings were up here, which is also how they conceal their weapons, which are as long as a human is. They're Zitra.
Very good stuff.
Yeah. Fantasy, I think. I mean, especially like if you were feeling a lack of fantasy creatures in the sci-fi story, I was like, we're going to get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. And I do love that. And I love the way how the Urktani are kind of shown to have their own fighting style, have these man-sized scimitars, basically. And then this interaction happens, and it almost feels forced. Like Rockio just really wanted Hadrian to fuck up again and have to learn a lesson about how Xenobites aren't really people. But then their story loops back around. It makes a lot more sense, and it works really well. So, yeah. But it is frustrating that he's like, hi. And they're like, the fuck you looking at? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I just like Simeon the Red. They're like, history, bitch? Little bitch boy who read history books? You want to fight? And I was like, whoa, birds, calm down. Which, granted, I mean, if you've met enough birds that are kind of like that, but
yeah, very fair. Yeah. Greetings tonight and good day. Like Brad, or not Brad. Bard is I feel so bad. Brad is way worse.
And then I met the Urktani.
Barda.
Brad.
Barda comes up. He's like very nice. We get some like pieces of the language. Ishan Urktani. We get some of the words. Kithun. Within sort of like the captain. So there's a little bit of another like language thrown in here too, which is a sort of fun addition. I don't want to give too much credit entirely to Rockio here, but I do want to say one of the things that I enjoy the most is while not every language is as fleshed out as per se, Elvish, Dwarvish, etc. from Tolkien, we do get enough of each of these languages where it feels unique and different, and it's said differently and pronounced differently. There's a structure that feels different. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We don't have the alphabets, poetry.
Yeah, but you get enough to where you can bring in certain words and it can feel like iconic within the series. Like, I mean, I know that there was a lot that went into like the Dothraki language, and it is a fully speakable language. But like, really, like what matters is that like we get like Khaleesi, like these things that have like then permeated culture.
And the Ryok, in this series,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and you get like vermin, but the word for Cielsen's word for humans.
Yukajim.
Yeah. Like you get these things that really just stand out, and they happen enough that you start to get them. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but now we've gotten, especially in this book, because we used to just get like told she says the word for barbarian or she says barbarian, but like we start to get Valka saying barbarian in the Tavarosi language, and you start to get these like little hints of language more and more, I think. And it helps it feel so lived in, but it's like you start to kind of feel and learn the language along.
Yeah, just it broadens the world pretty excellently, and I think it really brings a sense of continuity to the whole thing in a very unique way. Like it expands my canons of probability, right? Which is sort of the believability of it all.
Tolkien gave us languages like in a textbook, basically, Whereas this is more like we're doing like
Immersion learning.
yeah, exactly. Like what's the fucking app with the bird? Hey, birds again. Duolingo. This is more Duolingo
Yeah.
than it is, advanced Elvish for collegiate students,
Very true. Very true. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not taking each individual language. I think it's worth noting, though, on the other side of things, I do want to say I think the only language that is fully fleshed out is Cielcin. He's done most of it.
And Cielcin
and it
feels
does
very
exist.
fleshed out.
Yeah. I believe that it's based on an ancient language, but we'll get into that at some point down the line. Not because it's relevant. I'm not saying it's relevant.
Now
I don't. That's not.
Guess.
No. I don't. Hang on. To be clear, that was not meant to be like any kind of spoiler for anything. Like it's not earthy driven. He just based it on something that existed as a format. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm maybe sounding like I'm way too protective of this to like not freak you out.
I'm not coming up with like
Okay.
book theories. I just think that this is he probably just took old recordings that were in transatlantic accents and then reversed them. He's like, nailed it.
I think it was Sumerian, if I remember correctly, or Arab. I think it's Sumerian and Aramaic, like mixed, or something adjacent. Oh man, I can't remember. I'll double check for a future episode. But again, like not pointing to anything in reality. And that's why I actually don't think it's Aramaic. I think it's Sumerian.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
But he also said that he was like, some language gets used way too much for other languages as like a proxy. He was like, I'm not using that. And instead was like, I'm using this one that's similar from another ancient culture. Nice. So maybe I'm mistaking Sumerian for whatever that other language is, which is probably the case.
I could probably adapt an ancient language, like a dead language that doesn't exist in a culture that exists, like a culture that's gone.
Yeah.
For my book. Yeah, I could adapt like a music industry you could like make a living under as like the language that's dead.
That's dead.
So,
yeah, that doesn't exist anymore in the way that we wish it would.
Culture.
Sidebar: go follow social cues on Instagram.
Don't. We're so on hiatus. Yeah. Tim's finally back. I'm like, cool. Let me know whenever you want to practice. And he's like, It's like, all right, yeah, that thing might be dead, but it's fine. Yeah. I got the other one going.
It was a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that said, we could move on from there. Udax moves very quickly with his Zitra, seemingly aggravated by Hadrian again for no reason, leading to a quick scuffle that nearly gets out of hand before Hadrian lights his sword, settles it quickly, knocking the blade out of the Erktani's hand, cutting it in half. And before he realizes that Polino is having a really rough time with worse wounds than he has.
Yeah. Yeah, Polino's got a real, like, tis just a flesh wound situation going on.
Right. Yeah.
The little fight between Hadrian and the Erktani is really well done, too. Like, it's not overly long. It's not overly tense, but, like, I really enjoyed how much we get to see how much, like, what absolute units these little birds are. Well, these very big birds are. It really establishes them as a similar physical threat to the Cielcin. Like, it makes sense why we would be wanting them, why we need bird units, Like, they might not be as strong and vicious as the Cielcin, but they can fly, and that kind of, like, those two things together.
They're want to see... horrifying, different.
Yeah, but they both got the talons and the claws and the size and the reach, and I really want to see just, like, a bird unit against a Cielcin squad.
Well, maybe one day.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it sucks that these birds are probably only in these these chapters, and then like probably one more chapter later, and then they're just gonna get on a little ship and be like, bye, and then we never see another one again.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I legitimately think Bird Squad is like an important addition to the Red Company. I think Bird Squad is gonna matter moving forward a lot. And I can't tell if it's going to be another failure on Hadrian's part to connect with the Xenobite that pushes him further down, like I'll just fucking genocide him then path, or if it's going to be like, does Hadrian? It feels like it would be cool but I don't know if the book would go this on the nose. It'd be really cool if Hadrian gets his Simeon moment with the Erktani that he kind of adopts in this section of the book.
Isn't that
I want to see them gift him a red cloak,
Sure. I like that idea. And I mean this in a kind fashion, as kind as I can. Isn't that kind of like stolen valor, though? Like, isn't like Simeon the Red actually did the work, with the Urktani before.
For
and now he's just like, yeah, I tamed the Urktani that were already had agreed to sign up for the military with us, and we're definitely serving, and I'm using them well.
I think it'd be really cool if, like, Hadrian has a moment where he does something that makes the Urktani really respect him.
Sure.
And they give him, like, his Simeon moment,
Got it. Okay.
Not like he bridges the gap like Simeon did, just like, I don't know, this is something that's so important to him, but also that's why I feel like it's not going to work out.
Sure.
It's hard to say.
Cool.
I mean, there's already moments within this where he kind of, like, bridges the gap and goes out of his way to try and help them out even after they try and kill him and stuff. But all that to say, this was a cool fight scene. I'm really into the birds. I can't wait to see more birds. And it sets it up in a really, like, interesting way. Where at the point that this is happening, like, in the reading, you're like, why the fuck is this happening? But we loop back around to it. And
the next 3 chapters are really focused on it. Pretty intensely.
I was never worried about Hadrian. But I definitely, like, whenever Polino was still involved, I was like, no, fucking don't you bird my Polino.
I'm just coming to love this guy.
Racist against birds if you take Polino from me right now. But yeah, definitely. Very happy that he's just like, nah, I'm old and fine. But he's not even old anymore. So, like,
yeah, he rubs it off.
He just rubs one out. He's like, all right,
just real work. Quick, just like real fast.
Just 2 strokes.
He brushes it off really quickly. It felt like a language mistranslation that happened in my head between English and English, frankly.
Polino's a career soldier. You figure out how to get it done quick. It's part of the mission.
He'd definitely say that, especially considering some of the language he uses later. He'd make a joke that way. I do love, there are 2 different quotes that I love here that kind of pop up right at the end. As Udax is submitted, Udax says, "You have fire in you, lad. Watch it doesn't consume you," which is perfectly delivered by Rukin.
Yeah. Also, Hadrian's got way more aura and bars so far in this book than any time in the other ones.
Yeah. Man is a war veteran now, a soldier.
He knows what he's about at this point, and it's pretty cool.
Again, these comparisons are just going to continue cropping up. I'm sorry, guys. And again, it's not because the series are that similar. It's because we have relatable listeners of whom have read these things. This is Hadrian at his most Darrow thus far. Like, this is like late series Darrow.
Very much. Yeah. No, I wouldn't even say late series Darrow, because Darrow's always kind of been. This is at least book 3 Darrow. Darrow's always acted like he was that bitch. He just wasn't actually that bitch until later.
Yeah, that's fair. He did kind of have that even in book 1. Although it didn't feel like he had maybe earned it, to your point.
There is a moment in this whole section that makes me think of book 1 Darrow a lot.
Yeah. Yep. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, Urktani and Alexander, frankly, at the very end. But yeah.
Now, Darrow did it more in like a service-y type of a way that was like a weird switch around. But like, this is like this whole idea of like having you whipped to protect you thing that comes up later. And just, it's not, well, 1-to-1 for sure, but interesting.
Yeah, not quite for sure.
Yeah. He didn't earn their respect by having them whip him. He just saved their lives by having them whipped. But,
right. Yeah.
That sounds about right for Hadrian and Darrow collectively.
for the worlds that they live in, even though they're both dystopic in different ways.
Yeah, maybe Darrow, doesn't quite save the galaxy the way he thought he would whenever he ends tyranny, because the tyranny doesn't just end with one death. But he didn't blow up a sun yet.
Yeah. Who's to say it ends with blowing up the sun?
Well, Darrow might acquire a genocide machine.
It's a whole other problem.
Spoiler.
That's it. We shall see. That said, an alarm began to sound. The same braying voix voix that had played from the speakers in the Bastille in Borosivo when I'd fought and killed the cornered Uvenari. I hated that sound. There were too many ghosts in it. And that fucking final line hits so hard. Like, I couldn't help but include the voix voix, but
it's
like, too many ghosts in the sound. Ugh.
Which just tells me that the alarm is just playing Ghost.
Yeah, just absolutely hitting it.
Like, Mariana Cross. And he's like, I fucking hate this song. Why?
Not
Kill
again.
the guy to it.
Yeah.
I was trying to help a guy out, but then I had to kill him to it, and he hit me with a fucking mace with molten lava inside. I just don't like this song, okay? Can we leave it at that?
You'd be shocked to know that Rockio really enjoys heavy metal, death metal, and like everything along that line.
Well, then, yeah, of course, then people would be like, oh, shit, that sounds really
I'm thinking
dramatic.
Ghost Inside, not even Ghost. I was like, Ghost Inside.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to say, everyone's like, that's really dramatic. And he's like, yeah. And also, like, what is this? Like, sure, the visuals look heavy, but like, this is fucking pop music. And everyone's like, okay.
yeah. Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I
Very,
love
very fun.
Ghost, by the way.
Ghost is good. Ghost is good. I was just, at first when you said Ghost, I immediately thought of Ghost Inside, and I was like, that's not. And then it clicked, and I was like, oh yeah, Ghost. That's right.
No,
yeah.
I'm talking about that one. Not
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we contain multitudes, and
but
both
Hadrian definitely listens to "Ghost of You" by My Chemical Romance and thinks about.
What did I do the world?
Oh, the last thing I see you are. He was gonna bring Uvinari home and he couldn't, so he's like, "Never going home, never going home."
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of fits. Honestly, that song might be one of the ones I have to put on my Sun Eater playlist.
I think it fits for a lot of reasons, but we'll leave it at that. And with My Chemical Romance over your shoulder, that's excellent. So that said, we can move into the next chapter, Decimation. Yeah, Danger Days, obviously, for those. If you're watching the video. No. Well, I mean, there's Destroyer.
I have 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge over there. It just didn't fit the color scheme as well.
In my album song per book thing, I'll do a little note. I put Destroyer off that record as the song for Ashes of Man. So if that gives you a vibe, that gives you a vibe.
That, you know what? Actually, I think I have the ability to just do it here. I have this album as my Howling Dark album.
For people who aren't watching this.
Wait, that's the wrong side. There we go. That album right there. That is Unleash the Archers, The Abyss, or just Abyss.
Excellent.
And if you've never listened to Unleash the Archers, and specifically the album Abyss, I highly recommend it. It fucking rocks. It's power metal, and it's cheesy as hell, and I love that shit.
Rockio-esque, so.
But it's the story of an ancient warrior who gets basically like frozen in time and then brought back to go do the bidding of an evil empress who can't die, but he's not really immortal. He's basically a half-mortal warrior cast upon time until eventually he breaks away and causes an uprising and then I think destroys a star. So
wow, it sounds super relatable and interesting.
So it's pretty good. I'd check it out. Abyss. Yeah. Unleash the Archers. If you listen to the first 2 songs and you don't like it, turn it off. It's not getting better than that. So.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, again, I think that moves us cleanly into Decimation. Hadrian decides instead to go to the medic first instead of to the Yurktani immediately, and comes to an argument with Valka about the place that the Yurktani have in the military, to which Hadrian explains that they aren't slaves and also that he should fight to save Udax, who attacked him. He even goes so far as to suggest that his path through this is to play both Anthony and Caesar, which I think is just like an excellent kind of like fun historical call out, but obviously she's not going to get it. Versus Alexander gets some of his references later, which is fun.
Alexander does get some of his references more than I do,
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's expected because he's a princeling, educated prick.
Look, everybody, Words and Whiskey is a podcast for novice and veteran readers alike. There are 2 of us here.
Hey, man, it's not my fault my parents made me read the fucking classics growing up.
Yeah, my parents were like, as long as whatever you're reading doesn't have witchcraft in it. I was like, that's all I want to read.
my parents didn't realize, the parents that made me read the books didn't realize that Plato's Republic had an entire dissertation and discussion around how there are more than 2 genders, which is a very fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever want to get into an argument, read that argument out loud for your parents. And they're like, I love the classics. If they're
My parents don't, though. They find them elitist and mean to them because they don't understand them. My parents
are elitist and mean and don't understand them. So, that's okay, like cool. Some of them, not all of my parents, please.
Yeah, no, my parents My parents, they got an RV. They fucking love it. And that's what they got. They don't need no books, you know?
Yeah.
My dad likes the occasional horror novel, but, you know.
My actual dad reads a lot, and he is not mean and elitist and strange. Anyway, I feel like I painted my parents into a weird corner here, but we're gonna leave that there.
You're all right. Your parents
it's cool.
are probably
Therapy
great.
on Tuesday. Yeah.
Mine are nice to people. Yeah.
I really like the call out though. And this is less the classics and more just sort of like general history. Anthony and Caesar, obviously in the way that like they play over the course of Roman history and sort of what they do variously to different groups, right? So it's like, oh hey, I want to bring people in addition to making sure that they're disciplined and they fall in line is sort of what he's going for there. And you can see that through the execution of what he does. So I don't think that it's like contextless compared to some of the references that Hadrian has made and sometimes continues to make. There's context at the very least. So
yeah.
I love also that Volca describes Hadrian as far away when he externalizes it, when he like disappears into moments like this.
It's a Fleabag moment.
Dude, and this happens 3 times this week in particular. I didn't realize that I cut 3 of them together, but it's first it's Plinio, second it's Volca, third it's Hadrian himself saying that he's gathering wool the 3rd time. Which is so crazy.
I noticed the Valka one specifically because I don't know if you watched.
Oh, I loved Fleabag. Yeah, all 2.
Valka's his hot priest, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's the rest of this story doesn't have the rest of the stuff that's so cool about Fleabag. Like, people have names. What's up with that?
Right. Messed up.
If you, dear listener, if you have not watched Fleabag, seasons 1 and 2, and that's all there will ever be. And they're each their own story, but you should watch 1 and then 2. Go. It's expertly written, perfectly acted, incredibly funny, and not a single character in that shit has a name.
It's truly incredible in what Phoebe Waller-Bridge manages in both those seasons and everyone else associated with the production. It's incredible.
Yeah. For one, I mean, I could be wrong here, but never one name written for a character.
Isn't her like sister named? I think you said no names, and I feel like there's like 1 or 2, but I think it's like her sister and maybe her like mom or something.
Not her
like
mom.
aunt.
I think it's a bit of a spoiler here. I mean, not really. It's in like episode 1, but her dead friend I think had a name.
Yes. Okay, so there are a couple of names, and I was right.
Okay,
one is sister. Claire.
Sister's not a name. Okay, yeah, Claire has a name. You're right.
Claire, most importantly, the sister, which is the most important name, I think, of the whole series. And then Harry, who is the on and off boyfriend played by Hugh Skinner, who's also the ex.
To me, Harry is not a name because all of the other men in it, she just describes by some physical attribute, such as like big dong or like shit teeth. I just think Harry is a hairy man.
Very fair. I'm going to pose to you, and none of the other ones matter because season 2 is a little bit different and written differently. So like we can consider those a little bit isolated. Claire's husband, Martin, is named as well. But I think that's exclusively good because it's in relation to Claire. So that works.
Claire, who's just a named character. Yeah.
Right.
It's a very interesting show. I could talk about it all night.
AJ and I did talk about it in some Devil's Cuts that are super old because we had a patron of whom was like, you have to watch this. And we hadn't watched it. And we did. So those exist if you sign up for the Patreon. They're deep and back in there.
Get back there.
Yeah. Like within the 30s. And we're in like the 190s in terms of Devil's Cuts.
Since the 1930s?
1930s. Yeah, moving out of this apartment in like 4 to 6 weeks. And I've only ever recorded, I mean,
that's crazy.
Seemingly in this apartment. So, new building.
Now I'm just picturing Words and Whiskey like, well, how you doing there?
How you doing there?
Pretty good, Cross.
Well, we're bringing back that North Atlantic accent and a little bit of that Spider-Man noir to the episode.
A word to the wise.
A word to the wise.
An explicit podcast. And by that, I mean, we say things like, gee willikers.
We then come to a conversation with Osman, who was a ranking officer from last week and continues through much of this week. He sort of kneels before Hadrian as a palatine and wishes that this could have gone different, trying his own interaction, but it's clear that Hadrian is having none of it, and especially aggravated with the decimation enters the conversation, excuse me, in combination with the imprisonment of the Urktani. Man, It's actually tough to read in accent like that because I wanted to add words where there weren't words.
I'm gonna try it on the next batch here. But,
sure. Do you want to read the quote in that? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, where's the quote at?
I don't think that's a good one.
We gotta
to read
wait for it. We gotta
way.
wait for it. I'm gonna try it. I want to try it.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Yeah, you gotta admit these birds, they're getting ahead of themselves. Absolutely flapping.
There's a lot within this that I really appreciate, and for those of you who couldn't track that, the bringing up decimation to begin with, the first time that I read it, I went, was that real? And I looked it up and I was like, holy shit, that's the origin of the fucking word.
See, I did not know that this wasn't just like a made up term.
I thought it was, and then I looked it up, and it's like the actual thing that happened in Roman infantry. I was like, holy shit, that's what they did.
Dude, and this is what I keep bringing up every time Hadrian's like, the Cielsen are evil because they can think of making a sculpture out of bones and eating people and like flaying a living woman and putting her on a standard as a banner. And every time I'm like, I'm pretty sure we've done that. Every single thing that's listed that makes the Cielsen incompatibly monstrous. I'm like, I think that's from history. I'm pretty sure we've been doing that. And decimation is just another one, especially knowing that now. This is one of the most fucked up things I've ever read, and that's crazy to learn that that's just what that means.
That's what the Romans did, and so that I'm totally with you on that. That was truly one of those things to me where I was like, "Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh shit!"
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. To read the quote for those of you who maybe have forgotten, or otherwise need it. Decimation. Sorry. Just kidding.
Decimation was one of the most serious punishments of the legions leveled upon against its own.
Funny enough, this actually kind of works in that like 1930s transatlantic accent because it does kind of feel like you're being delivered a little bit of a history lesson, which does feel like it belongs at the beginning of a Korra episode.
I was just about to make the Korra joke. I was just about to say, Korra finds herself against decimation. Decimation was one of the most severe punishments of the Republic City leveled against its own.
Yeah.
Whenever too many benders would get together, they'd round them all up and make them pull lots. Yeah, every 10th bender would get a death symbol.
Yeah, yikes. Okay, to give this an actual run. Decimation was one of the more serious punishments the legions leveled against its own. The offending unit, be it a decade, a century, a chiliad, a cohort, or even an entire legion, would be gathered up and made to draw lots, blindly taking a coin from a chest. 1 in 10 of those coins was marked with the icon of death, and the men who received them were lined up and shot by the men who did not, their former brothers in arms. Decimation had fallen in and out of practice over the long millennia, depending on the will and whim of the various emperors. Here outlawed, there enforced. The Emperor William Siberian, whom Impatient named William the Cruel, ordered fully 100 legions to decimate after the Jadian principalities won their independence.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that was already one of the things that just stood out as like, holy shit, that's messed up. But
to know that it was real in Roman history.
To know that it's a real practice is just insane.
Well, it shows what's interesting to me is that this again calls back to the hierarchy of obedience, and I don't want to have that and call it up specifically, but this is just an example of exerting that force specifically as it relates to in office, in role, and the respect that you have. So by violating it. Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of like this type of thing and like the actions of the cruel, as previously mentioned, is part of why the office itself holds a higher standard of obedience than those holding the office, because this is some fucking ass shit, dog.
Dude, it's bad. It's real bad.
But it's like it's real bad. It's like that's a good punishment. Like, if you're looking for the most like, wow, I really wouldn't want to do a thing ever. That's about as like psychologically tormenting as it gets. Because it's like, would you rather pull the death one or not?
Yeah.
And
like
you all just have to be in line and watch it. And like, I was starting to think about like the statistics of it. I'm like, is it better to go earlier or later? Because there's a chance that before you even go, all of the death tokens get pulled. But also there's a chance that before you even go, all the life tokens get pulled.
Mm-hmm. Odds are odds, right?
If you just go grab one right away, you've got good odds that it's a life token. but all the death tokens are in there, and then you just know. But is it better to just know you're gonna die and watch everybody else do it for the next couple hours, or is it better to hold on to some hope till the end and just hope that everybody else grabs one first? It's so fucked up.
Worse yet, Sunyear presents this in what I would call a more reasonable fashion of execution, which is we shoot them which is not great, for the record.
No.
I'm not in love with that, but they're dead pretty quickly. In Roman times, someone has to kill you. Someone has to stab you.
Fuck, dude.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe they drank poison, but I doubt it. I mean, I would be shocked.
I assume you would just get hack and slashed. I guess you can do firing lines with bows and arrows.
Yeah, I guess, but that seems
terrible.
Worse. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the Cielson would love this. They would be like, damn, actually, we misjudged you guys. You got some good ideas. We never even thought of something that fucked up. So, the Cielson would be like, ugh.
Yeah, this is just a great example of like my association with the word of decimation means to like really cull or like kill a group, like predominantly rout a force.
It's not obliteration, but it's you decimated it. It is no longer usable. It's
60% fatalities or something like that. Really brutal. And understanding Dessa being 10, of course, like makes this make sense. It's a 10th, but it the reason that it has that heavily negative connotation is because it's after the result of a loss anyway. So it's like, you've already lost so many troops, and we're going to punish you for fucking up.
And again, not to bring this back to Red Rising all the time, but spoiler for the first book. If you haven't read the first Red Rising book, it's crazy that you're listening to this. It's fine. Spoiler for the first Red Rising book. To have people who are supposed to be in a group to get in a military group together, trusting each other to put the lingering thought that they may have killed your best friend or your brother because they had to because of orders or whatever, that decimates them even further. Everybody pulled the death ones, but then the people that killed their friends have to live with that, but then they also have to live in the same crew as the people that killed their best friend or their brother or something like it. It doesn't just decimate because of the death. It decimates because there is no way that this unit could exist again after this, as a singular bonded unit. It's fucked.
It is fucked. It's also such good story fodder. Can you imagine writing the story from a member of a guy from a decimated unit? That's such a good short story idea,
Oh, fuck. That's so good.
Yeah.
Even be a slow reveal. It's just somebody who is an ex-soldier wandering. And whenever
I'm kind of writing a story that's like this, but not this specifically. But
ooh, that's good. That's good shit.
Mm-hmm. That's why my mind pointed in that direction. Anyway, so cool. Great historical context. Lovely chapter within which to view it from. This isn't a very long chapter, so, Osmond's fine. He's there. He exists as sort of a foil to show us how, weak a lot of the patrician class is in so many ways to the Knight Victorian, to the, idea of Alexander, and also the way in which they just want to appease, by and large. I don't know. Did you have anything on Osmond on the whole? I mean, he gets picked up a couple of other times this chapter and last week, frankly, but...
I mean, he's a very specific type of character, and I think that he plays his role in a way that makes Hadrian really uncomfortable, no matter kind of where he is. And Hadrian, it's the character you're okay with seeing bullied, I guess.
Right.
But no, I don't have too much to say about Osmond, other than I think he used to manage me at a BC's Pizza and Beer, but other than that.
See, that sounds right. I was trying to think of the Lord of the Rings analog, and I was like, well, he's not as cruel as Sharky is at the end when he's running Tyrant of the Shire, but he's also not quite the mayor of Bree or the innkeep at Bree. But there's a little, I don't know. I'm trying to find the line of cruelty within that series, and I'm I don't know. He's like Grima Wormtongue without any of the magic, and he's just the spinelessness,
He's like a middling landlord in a bad part of town, you know?
Yeah, that better example for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not quite a slumlord, but like he's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
That said, to Osmond, Hadrian wields Alexander's presence as his authority to do more of what he wants here, which is to see to the punishment of the Arctani himself, as his own recommendations, working through those conversations with him, as well as leaving his bloody cape in the room to go have that discussion. Again, short chapter. It's kind of just the send-off being like, I was bloodied because you fucked up, but also I'm using this to wield my power of authority over you.
Yeah. Also, like, this cape is described in the chapter before this as being like armored, basically thread that can like stop a blade. This is not a cheap cape. This is probably something that is like multiple years of whatever salary Osmond gets. So just the idea of him leaving it there and being like, don't you want this back? And then being like, keep it, I have another one, is such a fucking bitchy but cool move.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the like, I have another one. Whatever. It's like Frodo throwing the mithril at someone and being like, I got stabbed here. And they're like, oh shit, that's crazy. And he's like, now keep that mithril. I got more. You know, like it's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's just a very badass scene. He gets to dismiss and, kind of wave it off pretty easily. And we get into our next chapter here, Udax. And I don't know, dude. I'm a simple man, and I know it's just like
Udax.
Udax. I'm a simple man. I know that it's just a substitution word for jail, but gowl every time that it comes up. Ooh.
There we are, back in Elden Ring all of a sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden, even though it's just the British word for jail, which is totally fine.
It's just jail.
Yep. We come to prison, and I love Hadrian's small line comparing prisons here. He says, it even reminded me of the watery cell Valka and I shared on Vorgosos, but then perhaps all prisons are the same, each a shadow of each, before we actually begin to explore the space and find the title character, Udax, sort of at the back with Yurktani, past everyone else of whom recognizes Hadrian and kind of shouts out his name. I love that, like, shadow of each comparison. Like, no matter what, a prison is a prison, like,
yeah,
different, all bad, all the same.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's like a prison is a prison, but at the same time, there's like things that Hadrian has called a prison in the past that aren't being compared here. You know, so like a prison is a prison when it's actually a prison.
Importantly, he also delineates that when he compares it to Belutia, right? Which he's mentioned a couple of times over the books, but he says Belutia was one of the emperor's prison colonies, one of the cesspools into which the filth of the empire was inevitably drained. I'd heard stories about the chain gangs and salt mines. The sky is black with soot. I felt a stirring pity for the men, whatever the crimes. Most people die before they go to hell.
Baller last line. Also, most people die before they go to hell. And yeah, I think that that's like almost an admittance within the same breath that a prison is a prison no matter what. That, okay, but some are worse.
But some are hell. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but a gulag still exists. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, right.
And then there's even mentions very briefly, like later, about like gilded prisons that aren't actually prisons, that little princelings have to go live out their lives because they have to be out of the way or something.
Right.
And like that's very different than an actual prison as well. But an actual prison is an actual prison, and a gulag is a gulag, and hell is hell. And then little resorts that you're not technically allowed to leave are not any of that. Like, I don't think Hadrian brings up the waiting room that him and all the other like Palatines were in on Vorgosos for a reason, because they would have considered that a prison. But it wasn't. Anyone could leave at any time, and they were fed, and like it wasn't a prison.
Some prison like circumstances therein, but that's mostly, almost certainly, we even talked about this in post, but for the entertainment of Karn himself.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So,
how long will they grovel? Our conversation, though, with Udax is really dynamic as they trade verbal jousts back and forth about their fight against each other. Hadrian being forced to own his own appreciation for the creatures directly to Udax in an attempt to save him as well, saying like, hey, I love you, Urktani boys. I really want you guys to do well. I might be just a little man worm, but little man worms like me, we're pretty cool, right? We could help you out. I could help you out if you let me. And Udax goes, sure. Basically.
I mean, yeah, Udax goes, sure, but also, like, I mean, I guess it's kind of jumping the gun, but, like, it's interesting that Udax doesn't immediately, like, go for any sort of attack whenever Hadrian gets too close to the bars.
Mm-hmm.
Udax is very much so in the same way that, like, Uvenari was, just, like, in prison, thinks it's going to die, and Hadrian's here, like, it's going to hear him out. It's going to see what direction it can go. But I think Hadrian does really well here, kind of shifting the dynamic.
Yeah,
being
they play well against each other, right? Like they have again. I think you said this at the top of the episode, but there's like a lot of good character work and there's good banter. This is great banter between the two.
Yeah, which I mean,
it's not fun, but
the my lord shit is
my
good.
God, I pulled it up specifically. My lord, you must stand back. Flashing a glance at the woman, I said, "Say those first two words again, madame." My lord, quite right.
and, quite right.
And then again, it comes up a second time later.
Yep, those two. Damn, Hadrian is feeling himself today. He's got his saucy white coat on, and he's just out here. Oh my God. And it's so good, and it's such a power move. And then to even kind of make this plan in front of the cameras, being like, what are they going to do? Like, he didn't love that the cameras were there, but he's like, they'll still have to listen to me. It's really good, but I do love that he gets that confirmation from Udax here. Like, Udax doesn't even hold back. He's like, hey, like, I'm trying to help you. Did someone hire you to kill me? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, fucking did, actually.
And it's kind of like that simple. He's like, did someone want to have me killed? Yeah. How many of you are in it? 6 of us. What are their names? I don't know.
Jeffrey,
Shadrach,
Ringo,
Meshach, and Abednego.
Ringo, yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan.
George, Harrison.
Brad. So, yeah, he just, like, it's not this whole... I feel like the last time we saw Hadrian in a similar situation, the Sealson were like, you can see, you can pull out my penis and I will not give in. And right here, like, he's like, hey, man, yeah, if we can cut a deal, we'll cut a deal. Like, there's so much more reasonable. These are tiny, and they're still not human, and what is reason to them and what is reason to us is probably different. But, like, it is nice to be like, all right, I can keep you from dying and your unit being decimated. And he's like, decimated. He's like, decimated. He's like, oh, yeah, well, I wouldn't want that. Yeah,
sounds bad. Yeah.
In fact, they did pay me.
Yeah. By the way, the Chantry did pay me. I think we've kind of skipped around it, but the Chantry ultimately, it seems, hired Udax to assassinate Hadrian, who referred to them as inferior beings, which is the reason that he got the tip off. The guys and things like that, as he describes, also seems very Chantry-ish, as opposed to the designation derogatorily of Birdo. Hadrian isn't really sure that it's the Chantry, as he imagines that they probably would have had a better plan, but isn't quite clear that it's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's somebody for sure. And I do like the mystery that this sets up. Like, is it the Chantry? Is it someone hiring the Chantry? Is it the Emperor himself? Is it multiple people? Is it everybody? Like,
right.
And it's
who
just
doesn't want Hadrian dead?
Yeah, they might all want me dead, and they might all be going for it. Like, I don't know. And it's a very good, interesting way to start a story because it makes everything tense. It kind of puts a threat. Like everywhere. And I mean, that's just engaging.
Yeah, it's interesting because on the political spectrum and the political assassination spectrum, Hadrian is hot to trot. Like, he is out and ready to get shot.
Yeah, like, he just be doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he could be better and in the clear more cleanly, but also simultaneously, it doesn't seem like that's something that he would strive for or choose to do. So
yeah, and if he gets shot, he might be fine. So
he's probably fine, as he thinks, It's like, sure, shoot me, whatever. I'll be okay.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. You said I'll be back, and I immediately jumped to the Hamilton song, the I'll be back.
You'll be back.
Yeah, right. But flipping it. Yeah.
Not Arnold Schwarzenegger, apparently.
I'll be back. No, not quite. Although that's maybe more apt.
And not the Arnold Schwarzenegger inspired super buff fairy from Fairy Odd Parents.
Definitely not. Although I do
that
like it.
At one point goes, "I'll be back with weapons," and
With
I
weapons?
love that.
Yeah. That's like early Fairly Odd Parents. Great episode.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be back with weapons, which I think that's the most accurate to how Hadrian feels. Because you could literally throw his sword in the water and they'll just give it back.
Yeah, true. They'll just throw it right back.
Whoa! But yeah,
to round out the chapter,
yeah,
there's only one thing to say here, which Udax comes to understand what Hadrian is doing, despite the poor plight and scourging that is about to happen as they're about to be whipped, and still feels like he's done as well as he can. You know, like Hadrian's like, I'm done well for you. Considering
I don't think Hadrian did too bad, and I think that he definitely does something here to show that, like, it's a show of power. It's like, you're going to be whipped. We're going to have you whipped. You came after me. I am a higher being, but they were going to decimate your entire company, and then they were going to kill you and the rest of them. Like,
and that's not good.
Just keep in mind, you're getting a whipping. I'm getting you off so easy. By comparison, I'm saving your life. And I'm going to make it public for a specific reason, because the people who paid you, they're going to try and tie this up. But if we make a public whipping, it'll be harder to do because you'll be on display. So, sorry. Hope you like whippings.
Yeah. Hope you like a little yike.
I hope you're into that. I don't know.
To that yike point, I do love this quote. Do you want to give it a read? The little, I don't know. You're on such a big screen so far away.
Yeah.
That I'm realizing that maybe that's tougher than I thought.
I can
read it instead. It's just 2 lines.
I can do it. I just gotta find the.
Cut.
No, it's all gotta be in there.
Oh.
All right. Not for a day or two. You'll have ample time to contemplate just when you should draw your sword and when you should keep it in its sheath. Such a good line. Such a good fucking line. Like, when will I be whipped? Gonna be bit. Maybe you should sit here and think about what you've done.
Yeah. Maybe you should.
Yeah. It's... Yeah, you'll have ample time to contemplate just when you should draw your sword and when you should keep it in its sheath.
It's such a perfect, like...
It calls back to, and I know we didn't specifically talk about this, but it calls back to that line of like, you only beat me because you had a better weapons. And he's like, no, I beat you because you chose a fight you couldn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Like, it's really good. Really good.
It's a crisp enough call out too to be like, all right, buddy, you didn't stand a chance and you didn't understand. Even though, like, sure, my sword's better, but like, you decided to strike against a Palatine. You thought I was just a normal fucking dude. Although part of me is like, and Hadrian is like this too. He's like, yeah, he probably could have taken me. Actually, he probably could have,
but I'd have been back.
I'd have come right back. I would have walked out of a different bush and I would have struck him from behind.
Got his fucking head off, I'll tell you that much.
From behind again.
From behind again.
That's what we do.
And then now I got 4 arms. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on. Because I didn't lose any arms this time.
Every time I go, they give me one. So if I don't lose one before I go in, it gets really confusing.
The quiet doesn't know what to do with all these arms.
They just, honestly, they got them all from like, they made a deal with Brethren. Brethren was like, here's a bunch of arms. They don't know what to do with them. They're just giving them out.
Just on a white pale hands, and they keep handing them to me, and I'm like, what do I do?
Stop handing me hands.
So absurd. All right. Well, we get to our final chapter here before a little break here with the drink. We get too close to the sun. And this is such, like, it's a short chapter. This is one of those chapters that's mostly internalized. Like, we've talked about these before, is like the internal chapters in which Hadrian is mostly just talking to himself from the future perspective. Instead, this isn't that, because it isn't future Hadrian talking to us directly. It's present Hadrian arguing with Mentor Gibson in his own mind for how he stands on things.
Like, he's losing it a little bit. Like, he's doing great, but like, Gibson is becoming less and less of a memory and more of like a schizophrenic fracture. But
yeah. And you're like, part of me is like, how much of this is actually real? Because it kind of seems,
everybody kind of has to start questioning, like, do you think he actually talks to Gibson?
Because before the quiet was, I don't know.
But like he seemed like a guy who remembered his mentor fondly. But you guys think he's like, it seems like he's actually having a conversation. He's doing both voices. That's crazy.
Kind of crazy that he's got sock puppets. And that just makes me extra
introducing me to Gibson, and it's just like a very upsetting little claymation sculpture he's made in his closet. But he keeps moving it around.
He's got him
like,
on little sticks. Gibson says,
"What are you doing here?
What are the forms of obedience?"
I thought he was joking, but I think he thinks Gibson is on this show. Yeah. Hadrian's flying a bit too close to the sun with this whole Gibson thing. Just like we're flying a bit too close to the sun with our soon-to-release merch of hands handing hands to other hands. That just says, "Stop handing me hands." Words and whiskey. Check it out. It comes out.
I mean,
never,
please have your wife draw that up, and we will totally sell it.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you can do it. Who cares?
Stop handing me hands.
Stop handing me hands. Oh God, man! Stop handing me hands. Stop handing me hands. In quotes. Words of whiskey. Quote, Michael Scott.
Michael Scott.
It's Sun Eater, right? So it's Hadrian. Yeah, exactly.
But it's got to be "Stop handing me hands." Quote Words of Whiskey. Quote Hadrian Marlowe. Quote Gibson as Hadrian Marlowe, or Hadrian Marlowe. Quote as Gibson.
Yeah.
Stop handing me hands.
Yeah. So just to get us back on track a little bit here, obviously we get an echo of Icarus intentionally in the title here. Gibson on the page as Forictani are whipped. We don't really see that on the post, but we do see sort of Hadrian approach the post in post. Approach the posts in post.
Approach the post in post to stop handing him hands.
Stop handing him hands.
There's a lot of words going on.
He does feel the post and he sees the green blood and he rubs his fingers in the. He doesn't rub them. It's not
He's
too much rubbing this episode.
How much post and rub and feel?
I don't know. I've been saying rub too many times.
Why is he giving a handy to the hands on the post?
He feels the grooves from the strikes on the post. To be more specific, that was better. That's better than rubbing the post. Really?
No,
oh no!
It's grooved for his pleasure.
Oh
no! He feels the thick veins of wood.
Yikes! Oh fuck. Okay, Hadrian owns that he has a big part in this, as he says "we" multiple times, though, kind of pushing off some of that responsibility in reference to this being an imperial punishment, as he cites it a couple of times too. So he owns it internally, but externally he does put a little bit of this back on the empire.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a decently reasonable.
It's
stand.
Mostly valid, I would say.
Yeah, he did do this, and maybe he could have gotten them out of this without the whipping, but it was,
I don't know that he could have
societally. Yeah, this is kind of the best he could do because of the empire. So it's
they weren't executed, so that's good.
Now, did he have to go look at the birds in the first place? No, but they were literally hired to kill him. They knew he was going to go look at the birds.
Right.
Also, that's an interesting thing to think about. Whoever hired him to get got was this guy's gonna go look at the birds.
Yeah, he'll get got by looking at the birds. So they know him well enough to know that he likes the Urtani.
Knows that he's a bird guy.
Knows that he's a birder. Yep.
He's always got them binoculars on him.
He's a lister for sure.
Oh, he's looking for the red Covington tit or whatever. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
For sure.
So, speaking between the title lines, though, Gibson also shows up in his own head for this own crazy debate, as we'd mentioned, and whether or not it could be the Chantry, and risks coming back successful and his legend growing within the Empire, as well as his danger of his story growing if he's successful to begin with. There are many elements to this where Gibson says, well, perhaps either way you're screwed.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's just Hadrian's own anxieties being there's no way out, but he manifests as Gibson, and then he legitimately feels like he believes he's talking to Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Hadrian, for a chapter called Icarus, and too close to the sun. Might be flying a bit too close to the sun right now. I think his psyche is not as strong as he's giving us in the moment, because that's the most like just having a conversation with Gibson and actually believing he's getting some sort of insight that's not just his own out of it that I've seen yet.
Very true. This feels the most like a directly one-on-one versus like I am just instead debating the immediate circumstance and
Usually it's like
forward.
I would remember my mentor's voice and it would be a specific advice. This is like he's having a conversation with Gibson. I remember thinking it was a little weird reading it, being like, yeah, you good, bro?
You okay, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like my dog's right here next to me. Can't see him, but yeah, sometimes I like to grab his little paws and do a little voice like he's talking to me. But if it got to a point where I was like legitimately just having deep conversations with my dog and then doing his voice back and being like, I never thought about that way. And he's like, yeah, you really should. Like, yeah, I'd be concerned. Maybe put me on like a brief.
Your wife would be concerned.
Vacation.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
And she hears all the other voices too. So like,
but she knows they're for fun. Yeah,
she assumes that we're talking when you do the voices.
The house. Oh my god, yeah. That's why I tell her to stay in the other room or like leave or something, because she can't know that I have a podcast that I think I have a co-host for.
Yeah,
but there's nobody else there. And I spend a lot of time editing both of my little voices together to sound like we're talking over each other and stuff.
The video shit is crazy, and AI is getting really intense these days. So
notice
really
how I didn't join this podcast until AI got there, and I could finally get rid of the two actors I'd hired.
Render someone else. Yeah, totally. Very fun.
I killed Cross and PJ and I took over the podcast.
Didn't wear our skin as suits, instead took over the podcast?
Why does it matter if I did or didn't wear your skin as suits?
I don't know. You're writing this, Josh.
I didn't wear them on the podcast. I did AI for that.
Well, I understand that, but Josh, you need to explain to the people why I'm here and not there.
Well, it's not because I'm wearing your skin as a suit, but only on the bottom half, so no one can see it on the camera right now.
That's it. Right. And then the moment that I step away, you see that I'm naked the whole time. All right, cool.
Skin on the bottom half.
The stand above and stand below. Anyway, cool. With that, drink segment time. All right, Josh, let's hear it. What are you drinking? What have you had?
Yeah, eventually I'm going to get my bar setup going again. And
for right now, yeah.
But right now, it's basically a Boulevardier, but so it's 2 ounces of bourbon. So it's not a 1-to-1-to-1 like a Boulevardier would be. It's 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of Campari, half an ounce of sweet vermouth, and then half an ounce of a wild berry simple syrup.
Wow, so that's like an ass-forward Boulevardier with a lot of sweet.
Yeah. Exactly. Because like the intense amount of bourbonness kind of balances out the fact that it's sweeter than normal and would be. It's got a nice like wild berry flavor, and wild berries I think like balance with bitter well because they have a little bit of bitterness to them. So it goes into the Campari really nicely. Yeah.
Always a fan.
Pretty much just tastes like a Boulevardier.
Yeah, I bet it kind of does, considering like obviously lowering the vermouth and like you're kind of leveling out that like intense alcohol with just sugar. Yeah. So that works.
But it does just kind of balance well. It's pretty smooth.
Rounds nicely. That's cool. Sweet. What'd you have for a beer?
Oh yeah, I'm more excited about the beer. This is by Society Brewing, who I really, really like right now. It's gonna be hard to show, but the art,
the can is sick.
So fucking.
Oh man, all the way around. That is incredible.
Yeah, I wish it was more visible. But
we'll take a photo and we'll post it on Instagram. That's fine.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I could do this. Just get in there.
Enhance.
All the way up.
Enhance.
Still just going to be difficult to see, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a gorgeous fucking can. It is a really, really, really tasty IPA.
Yeah. Love that.
Very excited about it.
Are you having a second?
I am. So my second beer.
Oh, it's a different beer. I thought that it might be the same beer twice.
Well, wouldn't you know? My second beer is the same beer again.
Okay, all right, fair.
Yeah. What about you?
Very fair.
What are we having? What are we
Josh,
having?
I'm not in the exact same circumstance because most of my like accessible liquors are still there, but I also am trying because like moving is in the nearish future, trying not to
Yeah.
add too much on that I know that I'm going to have to move. Liquor is one of those things. I'm not going to go through it. I'll have to move the bottles. So I'm trying to play with what I have. I did that nice like adjusted Negroni last time that I made a cocktail. I did it again,
They
but
were
with
both
more of
drinking
the
adjusted
wine.
Negronis.
Yeah, right. More of the wine, less of the vermouth. Or sorry, more of the wine, less of maraschino. And that was a slight mistake. I don't want to say it was crazy, but
Okay.
the maraschino is necessary to round it out. I did
Okay.
add a half an ounce of vodka basically to like try to cut through it in the end as opposed to like over adjusting with maraschino. And that did
Okay.
work, and it's basically in the same direction. So the adjusted Negroni still works.
Okay. But it's not as good as it was.
No, the Queen of Mid Ashes one was slightly better. This is a little bit like because of the vodka in there more directly against like the gin. Also, for the record, this is my preferred gin in it too, which was part of the reason when I tasted it, I went, ooh, no, that's not working because I wanted the gin notes that I wanted out of the gin. Gunpowder Gin, a very incredible Irish brand. I've talked about it many times on the podcast. Wanted more out of it, wasn't getting it because that wine was kind of taking over. Adding the vodka gave it space to play in, and now it feels better. So it's there more. Not perfect, but pretty good. Yours is actually, at the very least, an original cocktail. Mine's just like an adjusted. I mean, I guess it's original.
They're about as original as each other.
Yeah. Well, yours is actually like a drink, right? Like, I mean, that's not something you would find on a menu because you added, a decent amount of your sweetener. Because usually, I mean, a Boulevardier, for most people's reference, has no simple syrup, right?
No, it's a 1-1-1. It's a 1 ounce bourbon, 1 ounce, or it's usually like 1.5 ounce bourbon.
It's a Negroni with
1.5 ounce sweet vermouth. Yes, it's a Negroni with whiskey instead of
gin. Yeah.
Whiskey instead of gin. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is just like a little bit of a play on it. I'm calling it the Ertanier.
Love it. That's great.
It's like berries, right? That's probably a thing.
Yeah, definitely berries and bugs.
Yeah, why not?
Cool. The beer that I'm having is also the beer that I had last week because I had some left. And again, I'm trying not to stock up too hard on anything because I have to move it in the end. So this again is Drecker, Don't Go Into the Long Grass, which was excellent. I had one and I'm half like a third of the way into this one. And my backup that I have already pre-poured because I'm just imagining we're going to get there given the way that this has gone is the Peach Boy Surf Wax from Burial.
Very good.
Yeah, the other beer.
I was doing a little walk around the new neighborhood. Mm-hmm. By new neighborhood, I mean downtown San Diego.
Yeah.
Little Italy, but also goes into the financial district, and we're close to all of it. It's all downtown San Diego is not a big downtown, so it's all very accessible from one end to the other.
That's cool.
I mean, there's a lot of breweries in San Diego, but I did not realize how many fucking like big hitter tap rooms are right outside of my door now. So
I have to come back with some growlers.
You gotta get down here. You gotta get down.
That's definitely on the agenda later this year.
Okay, cool. Because whenever I was walking around, I was like, all right, so like just like half a block away is like Virgin Brewing Company. And then there's Karl Strauss, and then there's Ballast Point, and then there's a Stone Tap Room. Like, and these are just like the big, well-known ones. But there's also like a Three Punk Ales, and like there's a fuck ton just like right here.
Yeah,
Bolt I've never tried, but it's there. You know,
always interested in a name like that. Like Bolt is interesting from a beer perspective.
So there's just like a solid like probably close to 20 tap rooms for different breweries, and some of them are actual brew spots and some of them are the tap room for the brewery, but all like walking distance from where I live right now. So get over here.
Yeah. Fun. Yeah. Definitely.
I was like, oh, we should go on a little beer tour, a little craft room hop. And I was like, we might have to do like 2 or 3 if we're going to hit all these. Cause I don't think even like if we were getting 5 ounce samplers, all of these are doable in a day, but
sure.
Maybe.
Hey, maybe. The only thing I'm going to say is going to restrict me from getting there this year is whether or not we're in Salt Lake.
Oh, what's in Salt Lake?
We'll see.
What's going on? What's going on in Salt Lake?
Well, in theory, Dragonsteel Nexus is going on Salt Lake.
Oh, yes. I'm ready. I'm ready
So if
to
that's
go.
happening, we'll see. We've
But
gone once before. We've been
do you know what
invited
the
once
timeline
before.
would be?
I think it's
Of what, not the
December.
timeline of the event, the timeline of finding out if we were going.
Pretty soon. It should be within, I would imagine.
Okay.
I think like and this is different because when PJ and I went the first time, we were actually invited. This time,
okay, but this
I
is a
applied, which is different, as as a sort of like potential exhibitor, guest, panelist, whatever the hell. I give it kind of a wide berth because we'd been before, but I think that all closes June 15th, so probably July. We'd know, but
that's
we'll
awesome.
See.
I want to go.
We can also just
I
go.
hope it works out.
That's the other side of things. Like
we could just say like we're going, and then maybe we're going one way, and then maybe we're going another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very possible. I know the tickets are pretty competitive, but could do it again. No problem.
I'm super down.
Yeah.
I'm super down to go. I hope that it is from the application.
Well, me too. But very could be exciting. But if we don't go there, I'll come to San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah. San Diego.
Yeah. San Diego.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be going to Comic-Con at some point. Not this year, obviously. But
right. We'll have to plan and buy tickets, and that'll be fun.
2027 Comic-Con situation going on, which means you got to be ready to buy tickets like in October.
Next week. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So,
all right.
That said, very excited for the back half of this episode. There's a lot of like fun action really in the first half. This back half really gets into a lot of different interesting ideas and sort of ruminations as it happens with people and with characters. So I really love the back half of this because we get really character heavy. So we start off here with request and require. We're back again, and Hadrian's frustrated that we're in this room, in this sort of table room where everyone's negotiating and talking. We're in that gray room that he doesn't really care about, but he sees it as necessary as he lays out the plan with the light probes and what they're going to do when they're adventuring into this wide space. Hadrian is also antsy to go, but also understands more clearly from his lessons of Karn and his father how to control the room with patience. He holds everyone there after he says something for 30 seconds clean to the point. Ruan, a commander from the background, speaks up, leading Hadrian to offer a single extra week versus we're leaving at the end of the week, giving them 2 weeks to prepare to go.
The amount of like, okay, and fuck my life and hair pulling out whenever Hadrian's like, you have 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I vibe more with those people.
Absolutely, but Hadrian looks badass here.
That's cool. But I'm like, oh my god, no! I hate this. But yeah, no, it is a moment of like, fine, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and then we're going. But,
it just shows the power that he commands, which he had never done before.
Exactly. Yeah, it definitely shows how far he's come and what he's capable of, and like how he can command a room.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. Hadrian also sees this escort mission as a way to succeed no matter what. If he can conclude that if at the very least we can escort people to Nemavand, then we have in fact succeeded in the mission, even if we don't find any of the lost legions, which is interesting. He even goes so far as to say, I hope so, Castellan. The Emperor does not suffer disappointments. I allowed my cape to settle, concealing me but for a flash at my left shoulder. Neither do I.
Damn. Yeah, like
again. Yeah.
Threatening and cool. Also, I was trying to figure out like, okay, the cape settles, but there's a slash at his, so there's like a hole out of his cape on his left shoulder that just shows off the slash at his left shoulder.
Let me see if I can actually find this. So there's this new thing that's been happening, and for a while now on Chris Baracchia's Patreon, he releases official art that is also, and you cannot just freely look at this, unfortunately, because there are definitely spoilers that abound. I do not recommend it. But there are trading cards that exist. So
oh shit. Okay.
He is like fully mocked up trading cards with like Magic the Gathering artists that do like depictions of individual characters. And I'm looking at one specifically, dear listener. If you're trying to look for it, it is revealed, and the title is specifically Hadrian Marlowe, the Sun Eater. It was revealed at the gala in November 2015. So that should give you an idea as to what we're looking for. Sun behind him, sitting in the room. I'm now going to send this to you, Josh, so that you can see.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So we see him
so it's like
standing there menacingly in front of this window, right? That cape.
Yeah.
And I imagine him turning to the back, right? Back with the cape. Red cape instead of black cape. But same getup, same garb, tucked tightly between its coifs on either side.
Damn, what a silhouette. What a silhouette.
What a silhouette. Pretty sick.
To then turn back and hit them with, neither do I.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think he turns back. He says that to the wall, or to the window, right?
Yeah.
Neither do I. Yeah.
And he's really mastered that like cold calculated Alistair thing.
You know, he is. He would hate to hear
such
it.
his Poppy.
He is so his dad. You know, in the worst ways, and unfortunately, like he is the better devil if we're comparing devils here in a lot of ways. But that does not make him not a devil.
Still very much his dad. Still very much Marlowe. Still very much a devil.
I would say that perhaps a difference is that he's maybe measured in when he knows when to use it versus when not to. Although I maybe don't entirely agree with that.
We never really get a good example of like how Alistair does and doesn't use it other than Hadrian being mad at Alistair as a teenager.
True. I was thinking to Crispin as an example when he's talking with Crispin in Lesser Devil as sort of the counter example. And that's where I can kind of see it and I can kind of be like, okay, all right. Like,
yeah, Crispin doesn't have
he's
the same
not
kind
such
of
a bad
like
guy.
Crispin isn't a bad dude at all. I think that Crispin just doesn't have that same command of a room. I don't mean Crispin. I mean Alistair to Crispin in that book. Yeah, okay. Yes. That makes sense. Yeah, because you see that and you're like, yeah, maybe he's still, maybe it's still selfish reasons. Maybe we're still thinking that this is just about succession and power dynamics. But like, he's not. It's just purely evil person. And I don't know, like Hadrian's view of him is very skewed. We only get Hadrian's view of him. So. Right. And there's nothing else. So that's why I kind of appreciated that, although we do see scheming kind of going on and existing in the background of that story. Yeah. But, you know, it's not to say that, like, Hadrian's also a schemer. You know, he got it from somewhere. It's his damn dad. Yeah. He loves his mom, idolizes her for so many reasons. He's the dramatist of his mother. Dad. He is his dad. Through and through. 100%. Despite his denial. But it comes to the surface, especially in this book. And we're like, ooh, I actually love that from you. And that's also like, ooh, that's kind of nasty. I shouldn't like that. Dad, yeah, but now I love it from you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Hadrian also levies one more ask to take the Urtani under the Red Company's wing, and while many balk, Alexander finally speaks up, saying that he should have what he wants, you know, in this moment, in this room for Hadrian. Yeah. And it earns both of them a bit of trust as Hadrian gives him a Colossus-style thumbs up on his chest. Like it could have gone either way, but I do love that like everyone's considering it, and then just the prince is like, do it. And they're like, okay. Because Hadrian could have been like, hey, you can't do that. Like, you're here to learn how to be a squire, not like just throw your title. But it got Hadrian his way, and he's like, hell yeah, brother. Knew when to step in. Nice it was the right time to step in. And it does actually show that there's a level of like high courtier type of intelligence with Alexander that like exists there. He understands certain things. He knows how to play this room. He knows how to play this room, when to play the room in a way that won't get on the wrong side of Hadrian because he overstepped or anything like that. Like, it shows some intelligence there, but also it gets him Bird Squad, and I'm fucking pumped about Bird Squad. So yeah. The second this happened, I went, oh, he's got fucking Bird Squad. Like, I was very excited to see what Hadrian, the Red Company, does with Bird Squad. Does he paint their feathers red? I don't know. It's a very fun sort of moment as we get this sort of like idea of what could happen with our Bird Squad. We've talked a little bit about the idea of like, obviously he's playing into the Simeon Red of it all and like a lot of those elements, so we won't belabor the point, but it's excellent to see them sign up and be like, oh, Udax wasn't a temporary moment. This is another character that maybe, who knows how ephemeral he is necessarily, but at the very least he's here for now. I didn't think it was very feminine, but God damn it. Anyways, sometimes I say things and I'm like, I hope that's not. Josh knows that word. Josh definitely knows ephemeral. Yeah, yes. And you make a joke, and I'm like, oh God. But I do think that to go off of my own joke as a serious thing to talk about, there's a great kind of moment earlier, I think, where we get this weird thing where the Urktani are very gendered, which is like so polar opposite to this Yeltsin. And I like that's just
We
an
skipped
interesting
over
little
that, yeah.
note. It's like they're still not male or female, but they are two gendered. They're like a two gendered species, and per translation, like Udax takes offense at being called they. He's like, I'm
Our
a man.
defense. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, oh shit. All right. I didn't realize you were like an Andrew Tate fan, but that's sick.
Yeah, it's also like a. I was just trying to address you without knowing. Sorry,
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't peek it. In this circumstance.
No, but it's a really interesting play against the Cielsen here. Like,
yes,
and the way how it like
right
is very different from each other. But.
Yeah, I mean that's like another like interesting cultural species difference that exists between the different cultures. I mean, obviously, this is also the first time that I think that it's fully clarified, because I don't think it was hinted at, I should say, in the other books, but it was never made textually clear that the Cielsen were hermaphrodites, and here that is like fully dropped
specifically
in an element
said,
of the
it's like
conversation.
They have all the sex organs, they switch them up based on where their social standing is. That's
which is interesting, very different. Yeah, they're.
Imagine it's like not like voluntary. You're just like hanging out one day, and then some friends of yours are talking shit somewhere else. You can't even hear them, and then just all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, my dick went away." No. Shit. Fuck. Did I just reduce in social standing?
I need to go kill some people.
Day off.
Yeah. I need to go kill and eat some people. Yeah.
It's like In Time, but it's just your dick.
Oh my God. We brought up In Time into the podcast once again.
I had to
your
bring
dick
it back,
gets smaller?
from last week.
That's your currency? Is your dick gets smaller?
It's dick length.
Dude, that's so tough.
Until it's a point where it starts going negative.
Yikes.
The Cielsen are crazy. I'd be mad too.
Yeah, man. Can't believe that they got that working somehow. The social strata.
Right?
Mutinar is doing some heavy lifting. That guy. Yeah.
Crazy.
That snake.
That snake. They throw big worms at each other. I mean, it just makes sense. I think it's a dick-based society.
When it gets too long, they cut them off, and that's when we get the whippy guys.
Exactly. Well, that's because now you're like wealth hoarding, Now they're certainly not
snake hoarding.
So yeah, you can't be snake hoarding. You can't be hoarding all that fucking anaconda.
Oh my God. Absolutely. So we then come to the end of this chapter, and I've got a couple of quotes that I'd love to read within this, because I think that they're excellent. They do a great job of depicting a lot of things. But we come to the joining of the Urktani with the Red Company, as well as the Red-Handed Evolution, as it's often called, and is wont to refer to it as the Quiet Hands. He thinks to himself, reading all of that, he refers to his wool gathering as he sifts through his thoughts underneath the beauty of Catrate's son. Before the birds request to be brought to the front, and Hadrian goes as far as to say, "Oh, I'm taking you to war." He commits. We get beauty of
like they're mad. They're like, well, we signed up for a fight. The fuck? And he's like, well, you gonna get one.
Oh, I'm always where I go. War ends up.
Honey, you don't know me. We actually asked if you knew me, and you didn't.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've been killing Cielsen left and right. Actually,
they be my enemies.
And also, you ever heard of the Exosolarians?
Aptica?
The Exalted?
Yeah.
What do you know
Minos?
about the bad shit out there? Because I do. And that's what we're doing. Yeah, no, it was a very cool moment. I'm taking you to war. Like, they're like, oh, well, like, you're trying to save us? No. I'm bringing you somewhere worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I wanted to also tie this into is, like, this seems to be, at the very least, in the way that it's portrayed, our final stop at Gadadin until we show up here later, right? Like, we ruminate on Gadadin and Catrate and the city
and I think
and the sun.
This moment that's like, how many times did I go back to Gadadin before that day? And it's like maybe a dozen. But I don't know if we're gonna see all those. Like, it's mentioned it happens a few more times, but in a very like passing, less specific way. So it's like, it is this interesting thing where it's like, hey,
so it's not how many times did I go back, it's how many times did I circle around. I think it's like the number of rotations the ship is doing physically, because I think he's like 7, 12. I can't remember, but I don't see it again until that day.
Crazy. Yeah.
Because I think that this is the last time that he shows here until the end.
It's wild.
According to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then we just have to trust him because he's the one writing the book.
It's very true. Yeah. And I'm just an unreliable narrator on top of the unreliable narrator telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
A yike.
Hello. We are Words and Whiskey, an unreliable podcast about books. You should think of us as your unreliable weekly podcast.
Also, we might sometimes skip things and may get some things wrong from time to time, especially if it's numerically related to like height or like total number of people's.
Purposeful to throw you off the scent on whether or not we're being honest. Anytime we make a mistake, it was on purpose, and we know the right answer, actually.
But don't email us or send us Instagram messages about us being incorrect about anything ever, please. Thank you. Love you.
You
bye.
can send them straight to me, actually. You can mail them to me.
Yeah, you want to do that? You want to give out?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mailing address is, and then I just say, like, my worst enemy's mailing address.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them. Yeah, you pick.
I only have, like,
we'll just give them
enemies,
PJs. Yeah. We'll just give them PJs.
It's PJ's address. Yeah, and if you're upset, write a letter, mail it to,
address it to Atomic Pylon Media's CFO. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the two quotes to round out this chapter. As a child, we believe the world enchanted because age has not killed the magic we are born with. As we grow, the simple spells of new sights and far-up places no longer work on us, and we grow cynical and cold. But I was old even then, a young man, 110, 115 years, I no longer recall. But in age, once more, the magic returns if you are willing and open to it. Though young wood does not burn for the moisture in it, as a lonely cinder may catch in an old, dry wood and spark a great burning, so do such small things kindle the hearts of those with eyes and time to see.
Yeah, so I do very much so enjoy this idea of, like, youth holding magic and us growing out of it, but I really, really like the idea that, like, that magic still exists if you let it,
and we can grab it, we can
life.
get it again.
Yeah, because, like, in a much less serious way, I'm a 30-year-old man who loves the Ren Fair, you know, and for a while there, I had lost all my whimsy, and it's fucking back and it's fun. Guess what? You can just go out and believe in magic again, and it fucking rips. And I highly suggest
you just have
it.
fun.
Pick up a book.
Yeah.
It's such a interesting and, like, very relatable human moment here with Hadrian, where usually he's like, "Did you know how much I know about history?" And right here, he's just like, actually, I think this sums up why Hadrian is the way he is. Like, he was a kid who believed in magic, and he's starting to relearn to believe in it again.
Yeah, and to, like, give the second piece of this in so many ways, right? And if you burn long enough and bright as I have done, you come back to the simple truth of childhood. The world of scientists, of engineers, and mathematicians does not exist. We live in stories, in the demon-haunted world of myth. We are heroes and dragons, evil and divine. I felt almost that Simeon stood beside me as I stood beside Karn Sagara in the halls of the Undying, in that perverse ark in Eden he kept bottled beneath his hanging pyramid. I forgot that I actually did include that line. I thought I cut it. But,
yes. The back half of this is so good and so poetic and so within the story, but I just love the statement.
The first half, it's perfect.
Yeah, that, like, at the end of the day, the world of scientists, engineers, and mathematicians doesn't exist. We live in stories. And there's, like, so much truth to that. Like, yes, how the world works, what it is, what is happening is from the world of science, engineers, mathematicians.
In that. Yeah.
But what is the world we live in? Who are we? What is history? What is the future? What is the present? Like, that is the world of, that's the domain of stories. And that's not just the domain of propaganda and history books. That's the domain of Broadway, you know, like, that tells real human stories. Like, at the end of the day, if we want to look at Shakespeare, or if we want to look at fucking Soderbergh, like, it's all just stories about the human condition, and that resonates more than just, like, the math of why something happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about this a lot, and I love that the first two lines there, like you said, like, the world of scientists through the world of myth, right? And part of the reason that it sticks and resonates with me is exactly what you're saying. It's sort of the way that we capture the world, the way that we think about the world. I did this thing for a while. I don't know that I've told you this or talked to you about it, but when I lived in New York City, I went around and I took photos every time I would pass one of what I called a ghost bike, an abandoned bike that had its tires stolen or like other pieces and was left there locked and chained, and no one wanted to take it away because it was inconvenient. They couldn't ride it. They couldn't do whatever. So it just lives there on the post until maybe one day it's harvested. So I'd always take photos of those bikes going around New York City. I think I've got 120 of them. And I just had so many that I started to get interested in the idea of like why or what did this bike go through to some degree? What's the ghost of that bike, you know? And so I wrote like short flash fiction, like 2 to 3 paragraphs on average, and just put it out on Instagram. Got a couple hundred followers just writing some like short flash fiction. And it was a lot of fun. And that's sort of what I view this lens through, right? Like, yes, all of these real answers exist out there for what actually happened, but that's not what matters. What matters is the story that was told on the thing. Sure, the end is sad. Sure, like the results are sad. Sure, that iron is wasted and like the aluminum of the rims was probably sold and the tires were deflated and thrown in the garbage or whatever the fuck. Who cares? All of that, someone is calculated somewhere and is on some loss table. The reality, though, of it is some person lost that bike and had a personal experience with it up until that moment. And that's a story. That's interesting. That's something to talk about. So,
yeah. I mean, it even comes down to like, I don't know if you look at like any mathematical understanding of physics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like understanding those physics is incredibly important. It advances us as a society. But what matters is how it affects people and their lives and their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's a cool breakdown of that. Where like math's not real, math is understanding what's real, which is only really expressed in Babel.
Yeah. Josh, this is one of those things, you know, it was very unique and excellent to have PJ on the podcast as a co-host for a very long time. Man's very grounded in mathematics.
He'd be like, no, math is real.
And engineering and a lot of the other things. And he would look at this and he'd probably come to a similar conclusion as we are and be like, it's really interesting to recapture that majesty, while simultaneously be fascinated more almost by the mathematical elements of things. For instance, later I've got a note that we'll definitely talk about, wherein Hadrian talks about like the way that time dilation used to work with space travel.
I was very interested in that and confused.
Well, exactly. And PJ would be like, so that's those are the two types of relativity. We're talking about special relativity and general relativity. And PJ probably would have gone on a whole side tangent rant in that way, which would have been excellent. But especially with this story, and this is why I probably wouldn't have covered this with PJ, this is a much more human story in a way that he's intentionally distancing himself from elements of reality in such a way that I don't think that he would appreciate it the same, which is why I was amped when it was like, Josh is signing up. I think he'll like Sunnier. Let's do that. Versus like a distant dream of doing it with PJ where it's like, I don't know that he'll get it in the same way.
Yeah.
He does really like it, obviously.
But I was going to say, but then he read the entire series twice before I got out of the second book.
Very true, and I'm glad that he did, and he's having a good time. But I wasn't sure, if that makes sense. I wasn't sure that was going to be the case, versus it being a pretty clear cut where I was like, Josh is going to enjoy this regardless. He's going to like the sort of like esoteric nature and enjoy some of those elements. It's not perfect. They get over the top. He knows. He acknowledges that. But
I know. And whenever I bring that up, like if I was just talking about this book with friends, I don't think I'd have much bad to say about it. It would just be highly recommended. Okay. Anything that I like have to say about that, I'm like, hey, well, we're here to talk about the book, so I guess this is my one spot to air a minor grievance. You know,
that's fair. and I don't
like to be like an overly negative reviewer or anything, but like, you know, at the end of the day, if there was anywhere to say it,
yeah, right. I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it again. My goal is always to like evaluate the artist, like what were they going for? How well did they execute it? And then impart my own opinion, right? Like, did you do the thing that you were trying to do? Okay, cool. And then I'll talk about my opinion.
And I feel like 90% of my issues with this book, with book series so far, isn't even issues with the book series. it's just really fun to talk shit on Hadrian when he does.
It's true.
anything.
And Hadrian, man, fucking deserves it. Out of most characters in most books.
He's getting cooler. He's getting cooler for sure. But
he's
just really easy to clown on, you know?
I was thinking about that while reading this week for this section in particular. I was like, could I read another book series with a character like Hadrian? And I don't think I'd choose to. I don't think I'd choose to. But I love how well this is executed in the space that it's in.
And it's interesting. You brought up Hadrian being more of a Darrow in this book, and I think that that's true. And it's like Hadrian wants to. Yeah. Hadrian wants to be a Darrow, but Hadrian is kind of a Giselle. You know, and it's just weird watching Giselle idolize and want to be Darrow, and it's hard not to clown on that. And I'm not even saying
First
Orso,
law
because I think
listeners.
I think Orso is a better man than Hadrian. Just
not even close.
Yeah,
not
He's
even
my favorite.
And him, top 2 characters in my opinion.
God damn. Read the first law, specifically Age of Madness, but you got to read everything else first, or you're not going to fully feel it.
True, unfortunately.
You could just read it. Don't.
Yeah,
I'd be mad
I don't
at
know
you.
why you do that.
Yeah,
but if you bounce off the blade itself, I understand. Really go read the Devils and understand that he can tell a story, and then come back.
That's the best advice ever. If you bounce off the blade itself, don't skip it. Just read the Devils and come back.
Yep.
Anyways, all that to say, Hadrian is just a clownable character sometimes, and he's also really cool sometimes. But, God, he's like the Ronnie Radke of fucking.
Oh no, I hate that comparison.
Sci-fi, because it's like, yeah, your music is sick, but like every time I see you, you're just the worst.
That is actually, I mean, I would almost okay. I prefer Ronnie Radke in this scenario.
Yeah, I'm not like signing him up as like a.
I have to think about someone that I actually like the music of, though. Like Ronnie, I never liked original Escape the Fate. I actually preferred post Ronnie Radke Escape the Fate.
Get better
personally.
After Ronnie Radke, yeah.
Falling in Reverse, I've never liked. But that's
what about a Craig Owens? You know?
So that's where my brain went. I was like Craig Owens or Jesse Lacey, where it's like,
yeah,
you fucking suck, but I can't get over it.
Maybe more of a Craig Owens than a Jesse.
Craig
Lacey,
Owens is better. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Jesse Lacey's a better musician, but
there are a dozen jokes, and we can leave them all
there's
right
just
there.
So many things to be said here. Anyways,
right.
Hadrian is kind of like all the emo guys I used to listen to.
Yeah. All the Warped Tour bands that were bad. Yeah.
If I don't clown on him,
bad
then
people.
I feel gross whenever I enjoy it when he's cool. You know?
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse. Yeah, we got to make fun of the guy for sure.
We got to make fun of the guy so that I can enjoy it when he oral farms. It's fine.
With that, I think it's comfortable for us to move into the Shadows of RA. Importantly, though, this is an interesting chapter.
So much more a perfect example and a piece of proof that Demons of RA is the first chapter of this book, and it's upsetting that it's not.
Dude, if Demons of RA were in this book, this chapter could mostly be cut and included with the last chapter. And the other sections of the book talking about Demons of RA could have also been cut. I think, conspiracy theory, I don't know when Demons of RA was written. I haven't looked it up yet.
But it was written and then it was cut. It had to have been cut from this book.
I think so.
It had to have been.
It feels like it was. And it was probably for pacing reasons, and I would imagine so.
Even whenever I read this, I don't feel like it makes that much impact or sense if I had, like, I think this is a better chapter if you have read Demons of RA. If I hadn't, he's just saying words.
I did get it upon impression, but I was like, I don't know what that actually means in my initial read through. As I mentioned before, I was like, in the first section, I was curious. In this section, I was like, okay, but you're saying names and words now in places, and like, I don't have any context.
That Demons of RA was written when he wrote this.
Yeah.
Like, so heavily
or was
clear.
Thought of, at the very least.
Like, it was written. This is like referencing in order shit that there's.
Yeah.
Demons
I agree with you for the record.
But I do like this chapter. But also, this chapter lives and dies off of the existence of Demons of RA, which wasn't included for some reason. But yeah.
And it feels like part of that is to like immediately lead into the empire of it all, as opposed to start in the same way that Howling Darkwood did with a weird off adventure. Not weird. I enjoyed it, but I also First time I didn't enjoy it. I didn't exactly understand what we were doing in cyberpunk dystopia right away. I was kind of confused. Subsequent rereads, I'm like, this is sick as hell. But immediately I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I feel like jumping into Demons of RA might have had the same vibe versus starting where this book starts. It's like, okay, we're getting knighted. We're becoming a knight. We're going through the stages. We're in the Emperor's presence. We have a quest. And this book is a quest book, comparatively, so far.
But to me, because we're not like, this isn't like, hey, here's where the last one left off. It would make a lot of sense to jump into Demons of RA and then go back to it. It just would have made sense to me. But it's okay. It's okay.
I definitely
I'll live with it.
Agree with you. One other pitch. Going from Demons of RA to the Empire to go check out another Lost Legion is maybe a bad internal structure. Like, go check out Lost Legion 1. No one shows up. No one's there. It's all bad. Minos is there. Go to number 2. Who knows? We don't know yet, but
maybe. It makes me think of, it feels like to me, Firefly, the first episode, where you drop into the end where the browncoats lose, and then you jump forward, and then it's like a train arc, and like we move forward from there on a quest that is defined by the ending moments of the intro.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need the entire Demons of RA story, but it does feel like it would be a sick like opening scene in a TV show.
Yeah. Oh, you don't skip this in a TV show. You would never skip Demons. Or maybe it's a flashback, throughout that you'd experience.
Well, I think it's just a scene. It's like it's a
scene flashback.
Slightly overly long cold open flashback to the first episode of the season. I have a theory that the later a title sequence comes in, the better the episode is.
I generally agree with that theory. That's a great theory. I love it. Had never thought about it that way, but you're entirely correct. And I don't need to think about it that long to agree with you. But I would say that I think Demons of RA goes over an entire episode, and you don't get the reveal of Minos until the end. But the first episode, importantly.
Okay.
But I think it's one, because you get the introduction.
All right.
Okay, think about it this way. Hang on.
So something I thought about. Hold on the adaptation. Okay. You go. You're okay there.
Think about it this way. We cold open on landing on the planet of RA. We see the wave of zombies. We cut away from the wave of zombies. We have no idea what's going on. We go to the Emperor getting knighted, being sent on this second mission, basically, for the Red Company. We see the knighting ceremony. It's incredible. Hadrian, in this second season of this TV show, is super amped to be like where he's at. We cut from there back to the planet. We see a little bit of the Scourge. We come to realize that it is actually alien. Like, these are actually human military soldiers. We cut back to the present day. We see a lot of the other things that happen early on, yada yada. I think that intermixes perfectly with the first chunk of the book that we just read.
I think it totally works.
Yeah. One episode.
In my perfect adaptation, that episode would be intermingled actually with flashbacks from Empire of Silence, just like all the other ones. But it's like a 10 episode season. Episode 8 of the first season of Howling Dark would be the Lesser Devil.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden, we're shifting away.
I think we said that.
The Lesser Devil.
Yeah. And we said bottle episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 8 of season 2, dealing with Demon White, could be when we see Demons of RA.
Okay.
So it's like something that's
interesting.
Up to that point.
Okay.
And then it's a bottle episode. It's Hadrian's Lesser Devil,
See, Josh, I feel like we belong in a writer's room to work these kind of things out for shows. I just don't do enough cocaine.
I can up my numbers, but I can try.
I don't do any cocaine.
Me neither. That's the problem.
But I do get bloody noses, so people might think I do cocaine,
and
so
I
that
have
might get me in.
Mad postnasal drip. So
me too, actually.
Oh, so we're
a full deviated septum. This side of my nose, can't breathe out of it. It's so sick.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. For me.
Yeah. Broke it 4 times. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got sleep apnea.
I'm not quite there.
Anyways,
not getting better.
I don't have sleep apnea, but it's not far off.
Yike. Agreed. We're getting this fixed. Anyway, on my side, I don't know.
Okay.
So to talk about the actual chapter itself, we talked about a lot of the content here, but we entered the chapter lingering on the son of Gododin once again, and how this quest seems doomed to begin with, before giving us a deep catch up on RA if you hadn't already read it, as well as many of the changes to the Celsian strategy as a result. That said, we talked through most of those things, and we don't need to rehash RA. We have a whole episode, by the way. If you haven't listened to it, you can go listen to it, and we talk about all of this in detail in the context of the moment, which I think is more important and more impactful. But
yeah,
the ship's names here. The Spirit of Zama is a town in Africa, which is also the namesake of a Punic battle between Hannibal and Scipio, in which Hannibal loses and is forced into exile. This is the end of the reign of Hannibal, which is interesting. The Androzani is perhaps, maybe, man, and I did a lot of research trying to make this not be the case, but I think it might be, given just the sheer amount of like searching that I did around adjacent terms and everything else, is perhaps the namesake of an episode of Doctor Who where the fifth Doctor becomes the sixth, which totally works within the universe and definitely makes sense. And, you know, Rockio loves paying homage to old sci-fi. That could be it. I don't know. It could also just be random name generator, kind of fun. The Cyrusine is likely a reference to Cyrus in general, in sort of like there is a General Cyrus, there is a Cyrus II, there is Cyrus the Island. There's so many things around Cyrus in general that it could be anything too close to call. But Mintaka is definitely, without question, Zama, pretty clear, pretty sure. The other two, meh. Mintaka is an Orionid star. It is the rightmost or westmost, or, my God, I'm not going to try to explain space coordinates on this podcast, but it exists up there if you look. It is that one on the Orion belt. So if you've ever seen Orion before, it's visible as part of the Orion belt.
I once wore a guy named Orion's belt. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, once played a guy named Ryan in a play once, so same.
Did you wear a belt? Orion's belt, if you will?
There were rhinestones on the belt. Is that the same?
Oh, yes, a rhinestone belt.
Yeah. It was High School Musical. Anyway.
Yeah. So, that's all super cool. Something that stood out to me is anyone who knows me and the podcast knows that I'm a massive Kipling fan. Mm-hmm. So I love
Rudyard
like
Kipling?
Dark Age.
Don't you fucking dare.
This book echoes some similar pieces. So from little towns...
fucking stealing my actual shit out from underneath me.
You gotta have
here.
Secret notes that I don't get to see.
Well, I do actually have secret notes that I do bring up. I have a whole separate document that lives over here in a little notepad.
Why would you need to hide that, you know?
Because you shouldn't see it. These are the things I'm willing to give, Josh, and I keep the secret things just for me.
All right, everybody. I know no Kipling.
You know no Kipling? You know Kipling. You know Jungle Book?
Oh, yeah,
you know
only
If
the Disney movie.
Do you know If by Kipling? Hang on.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to read If real quick, and I think everyone deserves hearing If. If is one of my favorite poems for a number of reasons. The first time I heard it is in the middle of a brand new song, and I didn't realize that it was Kipling. And he stole from Kipling very directly. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired of waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them out of worn out tools, which is the brand new line. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, none none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of a distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is much more, you'll be a man, my son. But it's this supposition of all these different ideas of like, how do you juggle being a person? You know, how do you juggle reality? And again, my first impression of If is from Jesus Christ by Brand New, in which he stole 4 of those lines and just put them into the song.
I was really expecting at some point for this poem to just be like, I am not your friend. I'm not your family. I'm not your lover. Yeah. But
basically though, to some degree, this was very much like a clearing of house. Anyway, I love Kipling. I'm a big Kipling fan. I've talked about it over the course of our Dark Age podcast. There are a couple of things that I've even attributed to Kipling that maybe Pierce Brown didn't intend, but he called out indirectly. And I read a whole thing and did a whole 45-minute diatribe on how Cold Iron, which is one of my favorite poems by Kipling, relates very directly to the text. So that said,
interesting.
Him calling out Kipling very directly here, with Alexander listening in the background, being able to call it out like not Shakespeare, but someone else. And then Hadrian, it's Kipling, is excellent. So the quote.
How Hadrian is that Shakespeare?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Shakespeare, you mostly. Yeah.
The beginning of Empire, he was like, Shakespeare? No.
Calling out Gibson for his quotes, it's like, no,
exactly.
That's not it.
Anyways.
So the little quote is from Epitaphs of War. And so the quote that he puts in the book is, from little towns in a far land we came to save our honor and a world aflame. This is a part of Epitaphs of War, which is a sort of collection that he was conscripted to write in relation to the people who'd lost their lives in World War I, the Great War, the war, as it's painted. And so that's also why it's called Epitaphs of the War, because it was meant to be just all in one and sort of meant to paint all of these different experiences and everything else. But he, in the end, as he started writing these in 1913, his son joined up to the army before that, or around then, and then was actually killed during the war. And I'm haunted by one of these, which is the one for his son, which is, if any question why he died, tell him because our fathers lied, which is often used for inappropriate uses of war, injustice in war. Was a flag that was written, or was like a line that was written on many a Vietnam flag. Rudyard Kipling, in my opinion, again, I've got two favorite, my top 2 poets, Robert Browning and Rudyard Kipling. Brilliant geniuses, lots of problems in various directions. Actually, Browning's mostly not problematic. Kipling's a little problematic, but incredible. Writers.
So he really fits the Brand New vibe.
Yes. And he's not, but he's not problematic in the same way. He spent most of his life as a British colonist in India.
I don't think there were that many 17-year-old band photographers back then, but
very true. But he was a colonist in India, which is the problem.
Yeah.
And then depicted
I
things.
would almost say probably worse. There were probably many 17-year-olds, but it's
I don't know. I don't know, dude.
Colonialism go crazy.
Colonialism worse in the larger picture, but he didn't know. Like, they didn't know what they were doing. No one had any impression exactly what was happening and what they were doing to other cultures at that time.
Yeah, sure.
Like, they didn't understand the impact of what they were doing. But yeah.
No, they knew. But
I don't think he knew, at the very least, at 6 years old, what was happening, which is when he moved there.
Okay, well, fair enough. But when did he move out?
Well, he did stay for a while, but he wrote the Jungle Book. Is that an excuse?
It's the bare necessities, at least.
I mean, yeah, man. I'm a fan of Kipling, and I think he's a great poet in general. But I wanted to call that out specifically and give a little bit more credence and depth, and especially if people don't know Kipling. I think he's one of the most accessible poets because he's an active rhymer who follows style so well and also provides intrigue without being too esoteric. I think it's really a big deal.
I will say that, like, something that makes it difficult for me to engage with a lot of modern poetry is finding, like, the meter, or like whenever you break out of rhyme structure. I'm just like, it seems like it's a lot of words, but I do appreciate like a classic rhyme structure, and these have all had that. I also really appreciate things that get a little bit out of that, and it's more based on like vibe and feeling. But
right, yeah,
it can be more difficult.
I can tell you that there is more Kipling to be had in the future in this series. Not too much, but like a little bit. So
okay, cool.
To be appreciated. If I were to write a similar series, man, I'd be struck. I'd probably do a lot of T.S. Eliot and a little bit of Kipling and a lot of Robert Browning. But let's be personally. So that out of the way, I know that was a big part of the conversation of this chapter because, man, we don't need to talk about Demons of RA any more than we already did. We then get ready to take off, and it's such a cool scene as the ship goes out to warp, as it's described so effortlessly, as the suspects levy their feelings about the Irktani and the job that they're on. We catch Alexander up real quick on the fear of Minos, and that's how it's been classified now as well, and sort of like the idea that this has been maintained and contained by the imperial organism as it exists, and how this is more than likely their hands and not the Cielson that we're facing in the immediate moment and as the immediate threat.
Which is really interesting from like the Alexander perspective of it all, is like the Cielson should by all rights be the scariest boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's like, well, I think it might be extrasolarians. He's like, those are real? Or not extrasolarians, but the Exalted. And he's like, wait, Exalted are real? The fuck? Like, you can tell he's more afraid of the Exalted in this moment than he is of the possibility of a Cielson unit. And I think it adds just to, like, the weirdness and the creepiness and just the horror stories that are Exalted here.
Yeah, it just builds it out to be this, like, this untapped fear and horror that, like, no one knows about. No one else knows about.
Yeah. It to jump into a sci-fi thing, it reminds me in a way of like the Reavers in Firefly. Like, people don't believe they're real, but they are terrifying, you know? Like, it's just this extra stars. Whenever there's already plenty of threats inside the stars that will come to your planet and eat you and turn you into bone snakes. But
we've got problems, but not quite as bad as those. Would I rather be
eaten and turned into a bone snake or turned into a psalm? I think eaten and turned into a bone snake is what I would choose personally. At least then I'm art, and I don't have to just keep on living vaguely conscious of what's going on whenever I decimate people with my bare hands that are dead.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
it sounds better. And
make me a bone snake. Eat me up, make me a bone snake. And then at least I served a nutritional value, you know?
In the case of RA, a lot of them didn't have hands or arms. They were just heads.
They're just bonking heads against stuff.
Very much like Attack on Titan style, where like they didn't have limbs that were useful, you know?
I think Attack on Titan and RA actually go pretty hand in hand.
I think so.
It has this Eldian aspect to it.
Uh-huh.
Now, with that said,
I know that Rocky is a big fan. Okay, Demons of RA was published in 2021. But originally it was published independently as an ebook in 2019. Hang on. Demon in White, I think it's 2020, if I remember correctly. Yes, it is.
Interesting.
So, RA was published.
Attack on Titan was out. It wasn't over, but
no. Attack on Titan. I wasn't even thinking. Yes, Attack on Titan was out. It was beginning to air, everything like that. It wasn't at the height of its popularity, but it was beginning to roll up in popularity.
Most of the manga was out, if not all.
I don't think the manga was finished until like 2022 or 2023 or something like that. It was pretty close to the final publication.
Okay, so
it was closer to the final publication.
Close.
Yeah.
Okay, it's you.
Closer. And I don't mean the first final season was published closer to the end of the manga than the final, obviously, because they dragged that out for fucking ever. I want to say that the final manga came out in 2021, if I remember correctly. And the final season of Attack on Titan came out in either 2023 or 2024. But the manga was out, I think, around 2021.
The final chapter of the manga was 2021.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then the manga, I think, the anime, excuse me. I
was
interchanged those. I mixed that up.
2023.
I meant that the end of the manga was 2021. the end of the show.
Yeah.
I think it was 2023 or 2024, something like that.
23, but it might have been 24 actually.
Yeah.
No, it was 24. It was 24.
Yeah, that might have also been the dub date versus the actual date, but that
That's true.
doesn't make any serious difference.
Anyways,
Regardless,
that doesn't super matter.
This also answered my question on when Demon and White and they existed in the publishing pipeline together, which is to say that RA did get published before Demon and White, which perhaps suggests that maybe it was a story that belonged within the book, my friend.
Yep. It was published. It was written with it. It was published.
There are too many goddamn pages that reference this story. And man, in post, in my first read, I didn't really care too much. I kind of buzzed over it. But in post, I'm like, motherfucker, I gotta know that story. I still kind of feel that way about Aptica. I don't know if that's how you feel.
Yeah,
but
it keeps being brought up, and I'm like, so what is it? I assume it's going to be in one of these books that comes out later.
With that, we'll get into not the other devils, but other devils. Hadrian says he prefers the lowercase quiet as we head into this chapter, where he's spending his time
Important
eating
distinction.
And reflecting on life at space. Hadrian loves the Tamerlane, which definitely makes sense, and we get a sense of its scale and capabilities throughout this chapter as its production, its size, like miles long, everything that goes on inside. But Josh, I can't help but think that I was the most shocked by bees
in space. Yeah, there's bees, motherfucker.
Yeah,
no, it's so like
so
The
cool.
Martian, right? Like it's about building an ecosystem within a space station to such an extreme degree. And there's these waterways, there's the fish that grow naturally there. Like
you wouldn't think you need bees, but you need bees.
You have to have bees.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you've ever had a bee in your car, that's really upsetting. I can only imagine one on a spaceship. But I'm someone who respects bees, but I don't.
No
like
windows. Does everyone have like mini nets? Like, think about like
I
the
just
way
assume
that
the bees don't get out. You know,
Kleenex
they
and
got
toilet
the
paper are so
airlocks.
accessible, right?
Yeah,
right. So accessible everywhere that you can think of.
Everybody
you probably
has
need
an
it.
EpiPen.
Every room. Everybody has an EpiPen, like that's injectable or like extendable from a wall, presumably.
Yeah.
Similarly, though,
you just get stung and then like you get scanned and it's like needs epi. And then you get stung from the other side with an epi and you're like, I'm good. And you just got to keep going. 2 stings later.
From the other side, you want to save the bees. So there's just a bunch of little nets, I think, that eject from the walls, little hand nets. And it's like, catch the bee. And then you put it in a vial.
Just more hands. Stop handing me hands, Cross. Please. These hands have little nets.
It is just another form of another hand, isn't
little
it?
Nets.
It is just another form of another hand.
Because I've been watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, every time they talk about like
also so many hands.
There's just these little cutesy hands, and I just
you know, in my many listens to many of the shows that Rocky has done over the years, either talking with people that are in chats, talking about questions and whatnot, and the interviews, I don't think I've ever heard him talk about Full Metal Alchemist, but I can't help but be struck by the small hand thought, because like obviously
and also
from
just
beyond
the combination with Brethren and the Quiet and the Truth, they all feel
adjacent.
Not directly inspired, but adjacent.
No, and
playing in the same
would never,
space, if you will.
Yes, I would never claim that they're identical. Similar with like Yu Yevon from Final Fantasy X, for those of you who played it, and like Sin, which is the more like culturally relevant thing probably for a lot of people. But yeah,
and homunculi being very important for both of these stories.
Very true, at the very least, the term.
Yeah, very different approaches to the subject, but
I would argue like the homunculi in question are almost more similar to the androgens as they're described in this book. And we haven't talked that much about androgens and like the idea of like sort of the genderless homunculi servants.
I was going to say the way how they describe homunculi in this book has more in common with chimera in
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Even Ilex, it feels more like a chimera, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and there's
again, she's a person, but...
And there's that one little girl that got combined with a dog.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'm not ready to cry tonight. I can't do it.
Yeah. And she's like, she was hanging out with you know, Hadrian and Polino, and then later Polino was like, the fuck happened? She's like, big brother Hadrian.
Don't.
You know? Like,
don't.
And then, of course, that Urktani bastard who's just killing all the people that shouldn't be doing what they're doing had to go and kill her and her dad. And yeah, watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
This would be
I just
a
spoiled a bunch.
Cielson, yeah. But
oh yeah, you think it'd be
probably.
a Cielson?
Probably
Scar.
Urktani.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he is more.
I feel like Scar is more Urktani because he's not like purely nice. Now he's
more like Norman or Jadian, I would say.
Ooh,
like he's
what?
Yeah.
Sir Lauren, why are you here?
Yeah. Sir Lauren, why did you kill a guy? We're all confused why you did this.
Maybe Valka,
It's such a fun space to be occupying though, to like finally get to explore a spaceship in such a way. Again, not to talk too much in comparing the series, but I do appreciate how far into detail we get here, where I never feel like we get this in any book.
No, in Red Rising, ship's big, lots of people.
Yeah. Ship big, hold people. Ship small, hold less people, have peanut butter in drawer. Almond butter. Sun butter. Yeah.
Star Wars, big ship, bad ship.
Star Wars,
good ship.
Star Wars, big ship, get a lot of description in the books, but otherwise, no. I understand.
Even
I book Star Wars, okay? All right?
Nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we like default into playing the Neanderthal game without realizing that we know that we're doing it, but
me book small. Boo,
boo, boo your book, boo Star Wars book.
Fire. But yeah,
I think it's our tendency as DMs to like play off other people. Yeah, so Valka eventually steps into the scene, which is excellent, and they have a lovely chat before dinner, and it's really great moment as Valka is clearly flirty with Hadrian and also chides him for Alexander and their similarities, which is kind of a fun comparison where it's like, well, you were that little asshole once,
It does cause Hadrian to do like this weird crash out where he's like, no, he's more like Crispin. And he's like, am I like Crispin? Am I Crispin? And
actually, I
like
kind of am more like Crispin than I think I was. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a fun moment of realization from Hadrian. It's also like a great moment to kind of see the relationship between Valka and Hadrian and how it's developed over these years. There's also a mention about Valka's age in the scene, I think, where Hadrian is still younger than Valka, but is caught up.
Appears younger. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Valka is older. Or appears older. Like,
appears older. Yes.
More aged, I would say.
Right.
But they are starting to meet in the middle, Benjamin Button style, a little bit. But he's like, I don't know if I'll ever fully catch up because she's running away from me. Like, at the end of the day, I age so slowly because I'm a Palatine.
Right.
And I think that that's just like a very classic fantasy kind of elven problem to throw in here. And I think that that's fun to bring a little fantasy back into my sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. It's very Aragorn-esque.
Yeah, but it's interesting because actually Aragorn's a great example because being one of the Dunedain, he's more long-lived than humanity, and maybe there is kind of a meeting in the middle, but then a drifting apart again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But other than that, I think it's just a flirty scene, and I think it's fun to watch Hadrian kind of drift into self-realization about his similarities with his brother and kind of recontextualize his upbringing a little.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of this book has already kind of recontextualized that. Like we've said, he's leaned way more into the Lord Alistair Marlowe traits, and now instead he's seeing himself being like, oh shit, I actually probably was the heir to the throne if I wouldn't have been such an asshole in so many different ways. Like I actually have a lot of these tendencies, and I can wield them well. Holy shit, holy fuck, what do I do? And then Valka kind of points it out to him in so many different ways, and he's like, okay, chill, but also you're the only one who could say this to me, and I would react reasonably.
Yeah. And I don't want to shortchange it, but I just love the next scene so much.
Man, it's so good. So I love this whole section again because it's like so character building, and especially these last two chapters really highlight some of the characters that we're coming to love and really appreciate more deeply. But we cut there from that moment to then dinner with Polino that he's made himself, and it's so excellent.
I love Polino. I love Polino so much.
Polino is gangster. I've talked about Polino the whole time on the show since he was introduced.
So
I love Polino, and I'm
now
glad
he's
that
young and hot, and he still knows how to cook.
He's
like
got
an old
2
man.
eyes. Yeah, right.
He's got. Oh my god, the seasoning is probably so much more well balanced.
Because he doesn't have to do this
now.
Right, yeah.
He knows
Depth
how much is
perception's
where.
important. Right. He's not missing the pot. But that said, like, I genuinely love this part of the story, right? This is that moment that we had back in Empire of Silence where they were all drinking out together again, but in so much more detail
so.
because
With
we've
a
lived
lot of
through
the
a
same
whole
crew.
book and experience. Right.
There's also there's some shit in here that I fucking love with like within that banter. There's oh my god,
Alara
Polino
gets
asked,
built out a lot here as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was by Alara. Someone asks Polino, like, did they clown on you for cooking back in like the military?
That I think is Alara specifically because he says a line that's like, "Woman, don't," and then slaps her. He slaps her on the butt and then says like, "Woman, leave me alone." Yeah, right.
And it's so good, and it just shows like they have this very unique relationship where they were both like an old elderly couple that then got their youth back. So all of what they've built as an old elderly couple still there, but with all of their youthful playfulness. I don't know. It's super fun to see. But I love that, like, did they clown on you for cooking? Like, because the Empire is a very patriarchal place. Like, I think that gender roles actually do play a major role to a degree here, not necessarily in the same way we view them. But she was like, "Oh, like was anyone like, oh, you're a little chef?" And he was like, "People only clown on you if you let them," which
accurate.
I like that line.
Yeah,
accurate. Then he was also like, "But also, people only make fun of cooking if it's shit, and this ain't shit." I love that line. Like, this man knows how to cook and knows about it. And as someone who loves cooking, like I pride myself on my ability to cook well.
Me too, actually.
Yeah,
I feel the same way.
We've like you've told me about a dish you made, and I've told you about a dish I made, and like it's a
you feel good.
Feeling
you feel good
to make
when you
a
treat someone.
good fucking dish and give it to some people. And Polino's here like, yeah, they would make fun of me if I made bad dishes, but I don't. So guess what? You know, like,
to that point, I love
me.
I love this exchange, which kind of feeds into the same sort
like
of energy.
Grilled squid pasta. Sorry.
Yes. So it's grilled squid pasta with. Hang on, I just pulled this up. He pulled a nest of pasta tossed with squid and garlic and tomatoes first onto Alara's plate and then his own, which just sounds so tasty. But this quiet woman, as he's sort of serving and whatever else, and the old swallower shook his head, and he says, "She's a liar, this one." And Hadrian replies, "But you are all right, aren't you?" And he replies, "Is rain wet, lad? Is space cold? Is the Empress only the second most beautiful woman in the cosmos? Of course I'm all right," grinning at Alara. You know, like, perfect. Like, he knows.
Such flirts. And here's the thing. It's so much like my grandparents flirting, but if they were young and spry enough to fuck, you know, like,
I'm ready for a rematch with those bird bastards, but fucking Volka, pass me the wine. Come on.
I love that he's still an old man, but he's an old man with his body back. Like, it's so fun, and it's such like a cool, I don't know. I love Polino. I love Alara, and they need the best.
Alara, Saran, Alara, Saran, the original crew, like the OG,
and nothing bad will happen to any of them.
Good. Nothing bad will happen to any of them, for sure.
Polino's keeping both eyes forever and living forever.
Definitely the eyes.
And the other part,
living forever. Well, everyone has to die, Josh. I'm not gonna lie to you. Even like Hadrian is gonna die at some point. He's half mortal. He's not full mortal.
I don't know. He's still there. He's still writing the story. You know.
Yeah, well, like, is it a good story after he's done? Importantly, though, I love this scene for so many reasons. We've cited many of the reasons. We get this energy. It's high. It's palpable. But there's also this moment and this element of like, there are seven seats, including the people that are around. One is missing. And Gen is the first person that he cites and says, he's like, "Man, I can't believe that Gen died, and I still feel bad about it. That's a ghost that he feels." And then simultaneously, he stretches over his mind for a moment. He's like, "And also Switch isn't here." And that would have been an eighth seat.
Like,
unless...
whenever he was like, "Oh, that seat's missing," I was like, "'Cause Switch."
Yeah. Right.
In my
That's
mind.
what you want to think. Yeah. Your brain goes there.
He goes
there.
to Gen, and I was like, I don't think we were ever that close to Gen. But, I like Gen.
I think it's denial, to your point. I think it's denial about, and then he comes back to Switch. There's also, like, just for, for the sake of it, it's like, okay, well, maybe Gen and Switch could have operated the same seat because, like, maybe he was into it. We know he was into it.
Oh. Gen or Switch?
All in one. Well, Switch. I don't know again, but
I feel like Switch would be sitting in the seat.
I mean, either or, right? That's his title.
Gen would be sitting on Switch. I think.
Okay,
personally.
sure. Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not in charge. I don't know. But that's really not what Hadrian's going for here, obviously.
No, yeah. He's like, Gen and Switch could have been in that seat together.
Yeah, no, he's more like Gen's missing and it's my fault, and also Switch betrayed me, that bastard. But also
like
he kind of feels sorrow.
He gets a bit of a moment where he's like, Switch is better than me and didn't do anything wrong. And then doesn't at any point be like,
I miss Switch most of all. And many were the times I'd regretted sending the man away. He always told me the truth, even and especially when I did not want to hear it. And he always did what he thought was right. In that sense, Switch had been a truer knight than I ever was, and perhaps a better man.
So don't bring him into the Red Company. Just send out a fucking note that says turn him into a fucking
turn him into a patrician. Yeah,
a patrician.
Yeah.
Just reward him a little. Do
Yeah.
something, you bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. He's so petty. He's so petty.
This is petty. And now, like adult Hadrian has to deal with his petty younger self.
But But he'll never admit how petty he was enough to be like, I was wrong. Maybe I should give him a little reward.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
not before he's dead. He might be dead now.
She might be dead. But Hadrian could just be like, hey, if Switch is still alive, make him a patrician, and it would just happen.
Probably true. Yeah. Brutal. Tough. Yeah.
Hadrian.
We do end on a happy note, though, and a happy quote, I think. And I considered cutting the episode here. I was like, man, this is so good. It's so good. But motherfucker, I want to talk about Lorien so bad that I had to include his self-titled chapter. So
I kind of felt like this was the ending of the area, but I like Lorien's chapter a lot.
This is a very natural end. Yeah.
With Lorien's ending, I felt like, and I don't know what happens next, but I feel like the next chapter is where we should have ended. Like there's some shit, because it's like 3 minutes or something. I thought I saw, like the next chapter is so short.
I actually don't recall. You might be right. I think it is shorter, but I don't know that it's.
But I don't know what happens. So I just saw it and I was like,
oh, it is. It's 4 minutes. Yeah.
I was like, why couldn't we do one more? What happens? And now I'm like scared,
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I had forgotten about that. In part because, for the record, this part of the book actually on our schedule was misattributed because I had broken it up 2 different times, and the schedule, for some reason, internalized that and decided, hey, all of those are going up at once. And so it was all bad, and none of it was logical, and there were pieces and parts of different sections. So now it's corrected. We're good. The schedule is right. Through kingdoms of death, beginning ashes of man. So we're fine. We'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah. But that said, that quote that I love, we need such people in our lives, for without them, we have no lives. We live in other people, by other people. They keep us on the ground, keep us human. And I've needed keeping human more than any king or emperor. In no other company did I feel fully myself.
Especially with like the conversation about going on ice and not going on ice that happens. I think in the next chapter, it's like, God, what a good quote.
Yeah.
This is the company that he feels human. That he feels.
These are his friends. And he has friends. This man did not have friends in book 1.
World is about community.
Yeah.
Experiencing community is experiencing community.
Life is about community. And we're like an interestingly unique case. And I love reading it through this lens of like, Josh, you and I didn't know each other until we knew each other through someone else.
Hey,
now we're here.
Met in person once.
One time. And that's it. We're doing this on a weekly basis for, let's say, 3 to 4 hours a week, chatting about fucking nonsense.
Sometimes we do 2 of them. Sometimes it's 6
sometimes
to 8
2
hours a week.
Yeah. Yep. And that's it. And that's our community, right? That's our fire ritual.
But it is like an important community to me. And
right.
It's so interesting to see how humanity can like latch itself onto the importance of connection and community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. With the people that you love and appreciate and what you choose to do with your time. And so like, I love that quote for so many different reasons. And I think that is so emblematic of the things, especially in modern humanity these days, what we choose to do and we choose to spend our time. So I love it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
I agree. I that one really resonated with me.
And strikes a good chord for the end, except for I've got one more chapter to talk about. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah. Anything else in that? I don't want to cut you off.
I mean, no, I love it. I love that. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of thoughts about Lorien though. So
yeah, there are a lot of thoughts. I almost condensed them down, I think almost too small, but it's such a strong chapter. And again, I would love to end it on that sweet note, but we can't because there's such good character beats to round this out with here. So we then move to the workout center that we know that Hadrian attends every morning with most everyone else.
I'm going to say something right off the bat, right out of the gate, right at the beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
Every scene reminds me of a scene I've seen, right? Mm-hmm. Of anything. That's like how we process auditorially and visually.
Co-opt.
And
yeah.
Man, there's a lot of better things this workout scene could have reminded me of. And it had nothing to do with how it was written or what they did. But I just immediately thought of Fourth Wing.
Oh, interesting. I went to Creed, if that makes sense. I went to...
Yeah, because like,
I haven't read Fourth Wing.
Now, no, you meant the movie, for sure.
Yes, I did mean the movie.
From the edge, and I'm thinking.
Yeah, right.
Look, maybe 6 feet ain't that far down.
Yeah, right. Far down. Yeah.
No, and it's... I think it's just something about like these character reveals and these moments of intensity of like everybody's watching, then everybody stops to watch in a sparring gym is just like half of what that whole first book in the Fourth Wing series was. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying I enjoyed it.
And those are two different things. And also importantly, it's fine.
This scene was straight out of Fourth Wing, but I liked it.
Cool.
The sparring part, not everything. Well, not that different than everything.
I don't mean to be an asshole, but we've already talked about publication dates here. This predates Fourth Wing.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm not saying... I'm just saying that's something I read first. No way do I think Rocchio was reading Fourth Wing. Being like, right. I gotta fucking do that. You know? But it
feels more likely
Games
that he was stealing
also.
Rocky. Yeah, it's very Hunger Games. It's very just like an open, like everyone's working out. You know, it's a very like just open scene in general.
Every good story needs a playing with the boys moment, you know?
And we got description of playing with the boys before, and then we have playing with the boys. And unfortunately, one of the boys is a rich asshole, so we're gonna have to talk about him for most.
Usually is. I mean, let's all go watch Top Gun again. You know,
right?
Look, Kenny
Maverick's
Loggins
no better.
is playing in the scene.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's Loggins and Messina specifically, but either way,
man. So Alexander is dueling Krim as an element of the scene, and Hadrian is impressed by Krim, citing him as maybe as good as he is, probably better even. And
if Hadrian said he might be as good as I am, he's better.
He's better, for sure.
For every reason Hadrian lists about people not fully hitting Alexander, people aren't fully going after Hadrian.
Right, exactly. For similar reasons, but also like,
maybe someone fully goes after him, but at the same time, like he's a god amongst his people. Like it's
right. And also, like if you kill him, is he really dead? Anyway, who knows?
Yeah, I guess you could go for it, find out.
Right, go for it, figure it out. That said, Siren is much less impressed with Alexander here. Lorien intervenes in the middle of the conversation, gives the boy a couple of like solid hints and what to do. A couple of notes on form and other things like that. And Hadrian initially excuses the outburst, calling Alexander young to Siren, being like, he's just reacting. It's fine. He even says, we don't start growing up until we leave home. And he thinks back to this moment earlier that we'd mentioned with Crispin and how like, actually, maybe I'm more similar to my brother than I think I am.
I fucking love both of these lines because that's a moment of realization. And also, I think that first line is wildly true.
Yeah.
Like, you don't start growing up till you leave home.
Yeah, which is true of Hadrian as well.
Yeah. At least for myself, like, I discovered who I was not whenever I moved, not even, like, I started discovering who I was when I moved out of my parents' home, but I really didn't figure out who I was until I moved away. Like,
Yeah,
and I know that that's not the truth for everybody, but like,
I think I leveled up when I moved away. Like I
yeah.
was better when I moved out of home, but I leveled up when I moved away.
Dude, if you want to be like Hadrian, the forgotten devil of Maidwa that's almost on the streets,
Crispin?
for sure. But if you want to be like Hadrian Half Mortal, move out, like out of the city, out of the town, out of the state, like go somewhere else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to join a Colosso for a little bit.
That's how I felt about New York.
That's how I felt about San Diego up until about like this year. I was like, all right, look, like I'm fighting for my life every day,
but we're here. Yeah.
But we're here. And now I feel like about Howling Dark, Hadrian, I'm like, look, man, I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow, but like I got a house and I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. I mean, Lorien is just also doing such a good job, I think, in this moment of trying to be proactive for the guy. And like he is genuinely like levying actual advice to the point of where like Alexander becomes injured via Krim and like his ankle, and because he like falls back on it. Krim's not trying to press his ankle or anything like that. He's like, we'll be done. Take it off. You're injured. We should not press this forward. To the point where Lorien offers him his cane, and the prince takes it sort of reluctantly, which also leads Lorien to kind of crack a fun joke, which we've already kind of known to be like a little bit of a jokester. He says, we cripples have to stick together, eh? Which leads to Alexander knocking the man down with his own fucking cane and leading Hadrian to explode across the room in anger.
Oh my God, we cripples have to stick together, eh? Is so fucking similar, such a mirror to Another Child of the Tubes.
Yeah.
Like, this is his Saltus moment.
Sure. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, I had to bring you back to Saltus. We didn't mention him yet this episode.
Yeah, it's fair.
But really, this is Alexander Saltus moment. Like, I'm sure this isn't a homunculi, but this is an intist, something grotesque, something different, something beneath him that equates him to itself. And he's like, well, I'm not like you.
Lesser. Yeah.
But at the same time, physically, right now, you're in the same boat.
Mm-hmm. And like, Lorien isn't even trying to strike him that deeply. He's just joking with him. He's truly like elbow palling him in this moment.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's a very, one of the things that's like very relatable, and I think you maybe I don't know if you latched onto this, but I do within this moment, is like, this is a Glocta-ass joke. And it feels like Lorien...
Very Glocta. He feels like Glocta if Glocta was happy,
Yeah, if Glocta had a good time with his bad circumstance, yeah.
Yeah, if Glocta was just a good guy. It feels like if Dogman became Glocta.
Fair enough. But like, to me, that's how I read this. He's playing around. He's like, man, you got a bad ankle, I got a bad fucking life.
Exactly.
Like, that's sort of the joke.
Dude, he's so chill. He's such a cool guy. Mm-hmm. And then he gets hit, and he doesn't even like really hold much over that. But this whole thing with Hadrian and Alexander following the hit is fucking intense and like a little
pulls him by the scruff, by the top of his collar, and it also like it's
there
this
has
synthetic
to be fanfic
suit
about this moment.
Interesting, I hope so. But importantly, like I love the idea of like grabbing him by the cuff and it being this synthetic suit that is like this
that
bruise,
shows that it would have been a bruise, but it's
bruised, bleeding by the time that like Hadrian lets him go because of how much pressure he's put on it. Like this is your life.
Like the combat suit he had, if he did that to him, it would have fucking...
Yeah. He's like,
highly injured him.
How fucking dare you? And he does finally get something out of the fucking little boy after shouting at him to apologize, but that almost comes too late considering the way that this chapter goes. Like, it's very...
Well,
man, it takes
like
so much to work it out of him.
And then finally, he does. But at the end of the day, and then this is a spoiler warning for future series, past series that have already been covered. Spoiler warning for Red Rising. At the end of the day, I don't even think he's a Lysander. I think he's better than Lysander, but I haven't seen it yet. But because Lysander was never as much of a bitch in the beginning, but as an actual bad person. This is just someone who's
Yeah.
like learning and getting better. I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge because I don't have that much of Alexander yet.
I mean,
But
it's
I compare Alexander and Lysander a lot in my head.
I think I do too. And like Roke and Tactus, frankly. Like I think they all kind of blend together on the sort of side of how we sympathize with the evil forces in that series and empathize with them and try to understand where they're coming from. And I'm not here saying that like Alexander is innately bad, but
he feels like an inherently antagonistic force.
Mm-hmm. And he does represent the part of the empire that we don't like, right?
Yeah.
Generally. So
no, I totally agree.
What do we do with that piece? What do we do with that part?
And it's rough. It's just Alexander exists in the world he exists in.
Yeah.
And he is actually trying to exist in Hadrian's world, but he's also inherently an antagonist of the story, I think. There's like no way to view him other than at this point a bit of an antagonist.
He's a deuterotagonist. He's very and I mean this in like like in a lot of stories, Deadpool's in. He's not a good guy or a bad guy. He's just kind of fucking there. He's fucking around.
I don't know if I view Alexander that way. I think Alexander's not necessarily doing evil things, but he represents
a malicious force, perhaps.
A malicious force.
But like
his very presence is inherently threatening.
Sure. That makes sense. And I'm down with that. I just mean in the context of evil, Alexander is on like the middle of the fucking spectrum.
Well, that's why
practically nothing.
He's not a villain, he's an antagonist.
Sure.
Like he's not there to be an antagonist in his mind, but like his presence is antagonistic.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take it. Yes. There are a couple of things to round out this chapter on, and one is a song. But before we get there, after a couple more rounds in the ring, Hadrian cleans himself off, finding himself spending more time with Lorien as he does so on the ship. And they're both talking about the way that they've pushed off going to sleep. And before we get to going to sleep, I have to talk about this goddamn verse. Because I did so much motherfucking research, Josh, to try to figure out what song this fucking was. Because it's obviously a song, and part of me thinks that there are elements of this that are intended to be original, which I believe that Rockio can and would do. But the first line of this song, importantly, is, "Hey, carry home my broken bones and lay me down to rest." First line. From there, I'm going to read the rest, but that's the first line. So take what you will. 1,000 years of time I've known since I left my home and nest. 1,000 worlds I've sailed and seen, seeking fortune and my fame. But I've lost it all and gone and died where no one knows my name. So my brain immediately is trying to piece this together. Where is this song? How does it exist? I hear that and the tone and the pacing. And I think back to If a little bit because it's got a little bit of that Kipling energy to it. And I'm like, but it's a song. He's singing this, right?
Yeah.
I think to America and the horse with no name. A horse with no name strikes out in my mind, right? Like, hey, carry me home, my bones broken, and lay me to rest. Like, ba-da-da. Like it has that sort of like ba-na-na-na-na-na banality tone, like to the whole thing. And especially the way that Rukin delivers it, that leads me in that direction.
It does have a horse with no name vibe.
It has a horse with no name vibes. However, the first line is directly ripped from a song. None of the rest of it. So now I've got to do this. So Josh, it's rare, maybe unheard of, that I would go so far as to suggest that people take a moment to pause the podcast and go seek out a song. But for most people, I would love for you to go find the song LA Connection by the band Rainbow. Josh, it's coming to you in a text message.
All right. Give me 1 second to pull it up.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready. Let me know When you're ready, we can do a 3, 2, 1.
I'm pulling it up.
Okay. Dope.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm ready for the 3, 2, 1.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
That's just a straight
verbatim
1-to-1.
the first line.
Just some good hair metal. That's crazy.
So we need no more than that.
Do you know the wildest part?
Yeah.
My dad was really into Rainbow with me growing up. So
Really?
This is not the first time I've heard the song. I just never would have in 1,000 years put that together.
I would not have either had I not had the desire to fucking research the shit out of this. And I searched every single line individually because my thought at first was each of those like individual substanzas was going to be a line from a different song. That was my take. I was like, the first line, okay, LA Connection. Second line, something else. Third line, something else. And every single fucking piece of research I did just went, nah, all that's nope.
Just the one.
Yep, just the one. So, all this to say, this may be a Rockio special, but that first line being identical, identical to Rainbow Connection tells me that it feels like a bit of a tribute. And then he wrote the rest to be emblematic.
It had to be like a starting line, and then he went from there.
And I also love the idea that, like, in the future, Sailor songs have grown to be hair metal. You know what I mean? Like, that's such a cool, fun fact.
And
Sailor songs
from one or the other, and yeah.
It's just all hair metal for sailors now.
I mean, that's how it is for me.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Such a fun, like, extra note. But yeah, nothing too
Everyone's
crazy.
Just like, I mean, hey, why wouldn't sailors in the deep dark of space in the future be like, holy diver, you've been gone too long, but your home's too clean. You know, like,
exactly.
Why wouldn't Dio just be their main guy?
Dio is definitely God. So yeah, that tracks. We're good. Yeah, for sure. That said, this was one of the elements that I talked about earlier, but within this section where Lorien and Hadrian are sharing this moment, talking about music, not music, but talking about the song, shanties, the way that soldiers talk, you know, they talk about the prince of, him being a prince of the Stolen Empire, blood of the God Emperor, and so many other different elements that wrap themselves up into this chapter. We also get like relativity spoken about for the first time, and we kind of get the idea of like, okay, hang on. Something I haven't talked about is that like we figured out a way where space travel is the same anywhere you go, and a year is a year is a year because of the way that we travel, which is important because special and general relativity really fuck with that. So
yeah, it's interesting to be like, hey, we actually solved for that. It doesn't have to say how we solved for that, but now the story gets easier to do.
Yeah, he's just like, for that. By the way, sorry, I was already hand-waving this before, but just so you know, we did figure that out somewhere along the line. Our principle of space travel is a little bit different, and that's cool.
I also like that there's still people who just think it works the old way.
Yeah.
Like implied, like he's like, yeah, some people think it works like this. It doesn't. We fixed it.
Well, the song even suggests that it did work like that at one point, and then it was like they were abandoned. The lyrics are very, man, dude, I was searching every individual line of that song. And I searched the final line, and Google AI in the immediate first response of my search, but I've lost it all on Gone and Died, where no one knows my name, which feels again like Horse with No Name to some degree in the pacing and tone. They suggested the Suicide Hotline, and I was like, buddy, rough. That's a rough Monday for me.
Yeah, you never want to
Monday
be researching
afternoon.
your podcast. You're like, it's daytime, please. You're
At
supposed
that
to
moment,
suggest this
I
later,
changed my
Google.
default to DuckDuckGo, and we're done.
Yeah,
Google and I,
there
we're
you
done.
go. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, it's a
sad song.
It's such a good like moment of like a sailor song that doesn't really exist in our world, but apparently has roots in hair metal, which just makes it that much cooler.
Perhaps. Yeah.
But I think that an old ship shanty is such a classic way to start a conversation between the bros.
Bonding a captain and a crewman, right? And
Yeah.
that's really what this is about.
I think I'm like, it's not that different than in fucking Lord of the Rings when Smeagol's just awake doing poems.
Yeah.
And Frodo's like, what you talking about?
This is to say, Josh, that I've summarized sort of the last half of this chapter into a single sort of like thought. And I we'll get to that and we can use that to round this out perhaps. But I'm curious as to your thoughts on Hadrian and Lorien's relationship and how that appears on the page. What are your sort of impressions that you got from the two of them? Especially considering like the history with Gillian and the way that Hadrian's grown.
I think
kind
that
of everything.
Hadrian's entire feeling about Lorien is guilt based to a degree. I think that the way he felt about Intis's and the history of Gilliam haunts him.
However, it feels like a lie. Yeah.
I think he's come to legitimately respect him and appreciate him, but I do think that there's this overwhelming guilt that turns all of that sour. There's a lie to this relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. And I think a lot of that is like very clear in the way that like Hadrian is willing to maintain that lie. The question is like, how deeply or sincerely does Lorien, as this like master,
I don't think that much
strategist, like lean in? Yeah.
I think he understands the ways that Hadrian isn't. And I don't think Hadrian's being purposefully deceitful. I think Hadrian's lying to himself in this relationship. And I think that Lorien sees it. And I think that Lorien is using it, not in a deceitful way.
But he understands.
But I think he's willing to take someone's guilt and use it to his advantage. And it's really like reached the highest rank he ever could by doing so. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't think their friendship is necessarily as one-to-one and true as I would hope it would be.
Yeah. I don't know that it is either, but I mean, like, it's trepidatious at this point. We're not quite sure on what's going on. This is our first serious and sincere moment that we have with Lorien as a character. So, like, what do we do from here? Even considering R.A. and Queen of Mid-Ashes, we get him once or twice over the comms, and there's, like, nothing to take from that, really. But here now, it's like, oh, I didn't know that you were an Intis before this book. I didn't know that, like, what was going on, your family situation. How do I take this? And now we can also look at Lorien and be like, he wears gauntlets to keep his nerves stimulated in different ways. He has struggles going into fugue because, like, it's not about the, like, overall, like, being asleep or anything like that. It's that it takes him a month to come back to. Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's so hard for someone in this life, but he's also, like, so chill about it. So I like that.
He manages it well. And simultaneously, I think because he manages it well, he has this expectation of reality. And looking at Hadrian being this unreal figure, he stares and he says, and he asks if that death was real, if he can really see the future. If what are you? Who are you? Can you be real with me? And Hadrian instead says that, like, that was real. I know that you saw the footage from Polino's camera, which explains that this was real, but also
interesting to note, though, that
footage
exists. I noted that footage exists. That will be important at some point, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Because the Empire is obviously going to try to hide that, and Alex has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That to me is an important little nugget. But yes, moving past that, he has seen it, and he exists within it. Sorry, finish your thought.
No, he just still Lorien still questions the idea of whether or not it's real.
He says he's that type of person that with seeing everything, like he's not a cultist like the rest of them.
Right.
He sees all of it, and he is still the harshest critic, and that makes him exceptional in Hadrian's eyes and mine,
Yeah, for sure. It does beg the question, though, and as he says, he's like, I don't even care if that's real. He's like, I don't even care. He says instead, do you dream the future?
Oh, and Hadrian's response here. Oh my God, no, I don't dream the future.
I dream the past.
All he has is nightmares about the past. Brutal.
But he did at one point maybe dream future in like deja vu almost in like maybe a suspicious way. Like there's questions there, but he lies at the very least to Lorien. He maybe dreamt the future once. He doesn't dream the future, but he's lying a little bit to the guy.
He has to some degree. Yeah.
Damn. What a good week. I love the way this section
It's such a good section. For sure.
This book rules. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a great time with it. I can't speak to anything that happens after this because Cross won't let me read it. But
conveniently, I'm gonna let you read the next roughly Beyond Doors of Dark. It's 7 chapters. So
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So, Cross, what's our next section?
So next week we're going to read Night Journeys through Beyond the Doors of Dark. And Josh, when I originally cut this, before we started doing this together, I cut the next 3 sections into 2. But when we started covering the podcast, I was like, oh, Josh is actually way more into this. So I cut it into 3. Unfortunately, we're going a little bit slower through this.
Let's go a little slower. Let's talk about it.
I think we're gonna really enjoy the next couple of sections, and I'm very excited.
I would rather smaller sections we can really break down.
Yeah, I think so. Even if they don't like totally yield longer episodes and they take more time to get to,
I would rather some shorter episodes sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Night Journeys is like 3 minutes. So realistically, this is 6
all we're
chapters.
covering next week.
Yeah. Right. Just Night Journeys. And that will take an hour. So
Hadrian had to piss, as I'm assuming.
So badly. And Gibson was talking to him the whole time.
It's like, to piss is to be piss. And only once one becomes piss can they understand the flow of the universe.
That said, you can understand the flow of our universe by going to wordsandwhiskey.show/schedule. You can see everything that we're planning on covering through the end of the year. I've got it scheduled actually through February of next year, in theory, provided there are also some gap episodes that I added for like our holiday special that we'll probably do in addition to the episode that we're definitely doing with Rob Hart, talking about 3 Hitmen and a Baby in probably from now a week. So not going to say next week's episode, but like one of the next 2 weeks, you'll get that episode. We have a couple of other like author conversations coming up that we really want to have. So should be very fun. Some of those might just be bonuses in the spectrum of things. Some of them might take the place of the main feed. We'll see. It'll be very exciting.
Yeah. All that to say, check us out on all the socials. That's Words and Whiskey show at gmail.com for the email in. And then outside of that, we got some patrons. And I don't know if you already said all that, but
support us, patreon.com/words and whiskey. You can find us there. We're there.
Yeah. And also Words and Whiskey pod
on socials. Yep.
On the socials, which was already said. But basically,
no, you said it.
The most important thing here is that if you don't follow us, it's fine. It's just we're going to gather up you and your friends and your family for a decimation, just a little fun decimation.
And you
just
really don't
one
want
out of
that,
every 10 of you
right?
is going to pull like a little death candy, and then the other ones are going to shoot you.
Yeah, come
and have
for
to
you.
live with that collectively also. So it is better. Just in the long run, like the return on investment is just better if you listen to Words and Whiskey and subscribe
Choose
and leave us
to
a five
listen.
star uh a 5-star review. Thank you.
Choose a fate better than your end. Choose to listen to Words and Whiskey.
Or we'll put the Bird Squad on you.
Bird Squad. Wow!
Yeah. Bird Squad! Yeah!
With that, dear listener.
Me and Brandon might have to record a power metal Bird Squad song.
Hell yeah. Please do. Man, if there's a Bird Squad cue that we can drop in, I'll do it
Bird
every time.
Squad! Yeah! And that just that long.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Need be no more. That said, with that, dear listener, there are endings, and this is one.
Cool.
Rad.
Dope.
See you later.